And we're good. We are on. Microphone's good and kicking. Thank you guys for coming back. Welcome back to Tradeskills. If it's your first time, what we do here is we find skilled people locally and we interview them while we drink somewhat local beer. Now, you'll have some odd ones in here from other states, California and such, but, they're too good to pass up. We have Halim on here. He's been on here before. This is his third time. Yeah. And I feel like they've progressively gotten better. I think I've gotten worse at interviewing, but as far as the video side of it, that part is better. We'll get into what all you're going on with the business. We'll get into that later. Let's go ahead and grab a beer. We've got a plethora of crazy different beers.
Crazy different beers, yes. This is pomegranate wheat ale from Atlanta. Shall we try this one first?
Yeah, we can run it, man.
Let's do it.
There's something up with the chat. You have your Facebook up, right? So we can actually see.
I can pull that up. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I got it pulled up here, but
It shows who's all watching and all that good stuff. And I'll have my Twitch window over here. Sorry, guys. There's always preparation. Always a little extra something I gotta do. I gotta get these. Oh, thanks, sir. Thank you.
No problem.
I'm gonna move these out of the way so I can see. Yes. Bueno. I literally, here, I'm gonna hold that.
Yep.
Yeah, I literally got this because it says Atlanta, Georgia, Down Home Brewing Company. It is Tea Palm Pomegranate Wheat Ale, and it says Atlanta. It's not really specific, but I don't really understand the photo, but we'll run it. It's got some kind of Persian-looking guy. Is Persian and pomegranates? Is there a connection there?
I'm not going to comment on that because I do not know.
I'm
That is
usually
my comment
pretty
for that.
good on my history, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys could.
What would be the best thing? Yeah, you gotta show off that that logo. That's pretty wonderful.
Definitely gonna show that off. No, I'll have you just tell me what people say when you say it, because last week people were saying things to Ben, and I couldn't actually. We didn't know they were saying anything. We couldn't respond, so I felt kind of bad because people were actually asking legit questions.
Yeah. How long was the stream last week?
Ben couldn't be on that long. He's an old man, and Ben, if you're watching, I'm sorry for calling you an old man, but his wife was telling him to come home. He told me beforehand that he really wouldn't be able to be on for a long, long time. That's
Still
cool.
You're getting people like that on the show, though.
Yeah, I'd like to have more. If you guys, after the show, if you guys have anybody in mind, anybody interesting you think people actually want to hear them talk or interviewed, or if they have some skill that you kind of want to know about, let me up, slide into my DMs, or contact me on Facebook or something. Let me know. I'm gonna show you guys that beer just so you guys can catch a gander at what it's all about. There's a little glare on it. Sorry about that. It's got a good color.
I agree.
It's got a great smell. Yeah.
R.I.P. Jake. We miss you, friend.
R.I.P. Jake.
We're going to go ahead and start that right off again.
Yeah.
I had my customers the next day saying that to me, like,
Really?
R.I.P. Jake. That was.
There will be a
we
shirt.
miss him too.
There will be a shirt that you have made called
Yes.
R.I.P. Jake.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Well, I wanted to have.
Place remembers Jake.
Rest in peace, Jake.
Oh, I hope he somehow hears word that. Like,
Oh, I've told him already.
90% of my customers think that there's some guy like a friend of mine named Jake who's just not with us anymore.
Well, he's dead to you.
That to me, okay, yes. Let me clarify anybody who doesn't know that story. Okay.
Is that one yours?
Yeah.
Ah. We're eating barbecue, guys.
Yeah,
We're gonna
had a
dive
chef
into
last night.
who made this and what an awesome job they did.
So yes, this is
That is
dang, that's
legit.
still good.
What do you think about the beer?
The beer, also focused on the barbecue. I didn't even give it enough thought yet.
I don't know if the pairing is right, but it tastes good regardless.
There's so much flavor in my mouth right now. This
You
is
hate to
too
go into
much.
the beer. It is quite flavorful. If you guys are new to Halim, or if you don't know Halim, He's a bit of a traveler. He speaks multiple languages, and he has a place in the mall called the Cool Place. I feel like I'm not really explaining perfectly, so I'll let you kind of tell a little bit about what you do.
Well, anybody who knows me, I spent a while traveling from 19 to 25, kind of traveling the world, finishing up my bucket list, doing some stuff like that. Moved back home to America, sometime midway through last year. Ended up landing a sweet job in Montana. That didn't fall through, or that fell through. I mean, exactly, that's what happened. It fell through, so I decided to come home. It's like, might be fun to have a game and hobby store because I like games and I like hobbies. So, yep, we opened up, and it's just a cool place, I guess is why I named it the Cool Place. But yeah.
It is a cool place.
Yeah, we have a bunch of different activities to do in there. We virtual reality, video games, card games, board games, movie theater, events, parties, competitions.
Man has crazy amounts of events. Like, I try to share as many as I can. And I saw one recently about if you got enough people.
Yeah,
like
that was fun. I'm assuming you're talking about the hot sauce challenge.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Last weekend we had easily our biggest event since opening. It's called Extra Life, and it's a video game streaming charity. It's really cool. No matter what type of game, it doesn't even have to be video games, just games in general. You live stream from 12 to 12. We could only do 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., so only half of what a lot of people do.
Is it Bones, right?
Bones, yeah.
Was he's the one that dealt with the streaming?
Yeah,
nice.
I hopped on a couple times, but yeah, we had last weekend shop. We had 4 people live streaming simultaneously. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd love to actually have him on the show, and if he's watching right now, if you want to, raid our Twitch or something and post this. I'll definitely have you on for sure if you're down.
It'd be cool. Yeah, he'd love to do it. And Bones, wherever you're at right now, Tifton.
Wherever you're at right now, R.I.P. Jake. He's in a better place.
Tell Jake we miss him. Dang, dude, you threw yours back quick. What do you think of it?
I liked it, man.
Yeah.
It was super easy to drink. I always say that about all the beers. Like, if I don't make faces...
You do like that comment a lot about these beers.
If I don't make a lot of faces and I can chug it down pretty quickly, that shows you that it's pretty good. If I linger with it, if it stays there for a while, I'm either in conversation or I'm iffy about it. You have lots of stuff in the works, though, don't you? About stuff coming up. I don't know if you want to unveil it all, or if there's some stuff that you kind of can talk about.
There's not, like, as far as the next, like, big stuff, there's not much that I'm ready to announce quite yet for the shop. But I mean, we're always doing new events.
Fair enough. Keep your secrets.
Yeah, I will. I do. As far as short-term plans, like between now and the new year, I kind of need to decide by December 31st, or I guess ideally a couple weeks before that, if I'm going to stay in my current location. My short-term contract with the mall is up 1/1/2020, and that's something that I'm going to get some feedback. I'm going to talk it over with my wife. We're gonna discuss if it's best just to stay where we are, which is fine, but there's more prime locations. I mean,
but there's a large overhead that's going to go into that.
Yeah.
That, getting a new building. I guess you have to compare what you pay currently to.
I haven't seen William Slayton since high school. Brian Moreland.
Really?
Brian Moreland.
He knows you. That's my cousin.
Yeah.
Well, Brian. Yeah.
I want to say
if it's Big Brian or Little Brian, I'm assuming it's Little Brian because his dad's not going to be on. But he.
I'd have to see.
He recently had a kid. Married a woman from Moldova.
From where?
Moldova. She has a name so great that you repeat it. It's Anastasia.
Whoa. Wow.
Or Anastasia. Yeah, nice. It's so awesome. She got it twice.
Anastasia squared. Nice.
She's really cool. I wanted to plan a trip out to Moldova, but my finances haven't been right.
Where is Moldova? What?
Think kind of Eastern Europe. Well, it is Eastern Europe. Think above Greece, Russian kind of feel.
Cool.
Think of like Bulgaria or like the Ukraine, or it's not, if she's watching, I apologize for destroying that, but that's the best way I can describe it. I haven't gone that far east.
As an American with Taiwanese wife, I can relate to having a name and a country that not many people are super duper familiar with and can't pronounce. Anastasia is a lot easier than He Zhongying.
Yeah.
You know, so
He
but now she's
Zhongying.
Zhongying Slayton, which is kind of trippy to have a new Slayton in our family.
Yeah. You wild Slaytons.
Yes, that's wild Slaytons.
Now, I don't know if we've had Field of Opportunities on before. This is from Pretoria Brewery here in Albany.
Yeah, it says farmhouse table beer with fresh blueberries. So I was thinking go from pomegranate to blueberries. We have a pecan beer up here, which I think is just the strangest thing.
We're in the South, man.
Whoa,
I've
that
seen
is a
Stranger.
weird color. Give me
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cups,
It's a saison. So
a saison.
um,
You're not saying it right.
I am.
It's saison.
Do I have to say on?
Oh,
I have to
saison.
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 I feel pretentious saying it like that. I feel like
just welcome it.
I feel like one
say
whole
enough-
d-bag when I do that.
Right. But again, if you say it enough and get used to it, it just comes naturally. You don't even think about the d-bag feeling anymore. It's just
Well, I
saison.
might come to terms with it,
Croissant.
but when I sell this, because I work at Pretoria as well, when I sell this to somebody, and I say, they're like, "Can I get that saison?" And they're like, "Can I get that saison?" And you're like, "You mean the saison?"
That would be beautiful.
Say that shit right, homeboy. Well, I mean, they
Love
do
to
it.
watch you say that.
They say, "Can I get the goose, please?" Or "Can I get the goose?" I'm like, "Goza." Sure, I'll get you a goza.
Yes,
So this is Pretoria Fields, and I don't even think we have this anymore, honestly. You probably can still find it at like your local, beverage place. What would you call it? A packing store. But as far as at Pretoria, we don't have it. And this was done with a collaboration with Piedmont Brewery. So I love these kind of collaborations. The can turned out great. This looks awesome compared to our normal can. Not knocking my normal can, but I started seeing the same thing over and over again, and this was just a nice blip of color. That was pleasant. Thinking in the future about getting a second microphone.
Yeah.
But so
If you
far,
want to go all out, you could get little clip-ons.
the lavaliers,
Yeah.
as they call them. Yeah, I'll just be worried about like plugging those in. So I've already kind of maxed out my ports.
I still cannot get over this.
The can,
Yeah.
it's like it looks like a black guy, but then he looks very
Is
happy,
this-
but he's Persian.
Yeah.
He's got a hay in his.
Come try my beer.
Hey, run it.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh. All right. Shall we, sir?
Oh yeah, I was gonna hop into the barbecue.
Yeah. It's
It's
tempting.
good, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
To you, Jake.
Pros.
R.I.P. Jake. So that's essentially just like the first beer, minus the pomegranate. Instead, just replace it with a little taste. I don't really taste a blueberry, but I taste some sort of fruity flavor. So
It definitely goes into the color.
yeah.
For sure. You
I'm
guys
not
can
a-
kinda-
Not a huge fan of either of them, but I mean, like you said, they're drinkable. I could just throw this back right now, and we could jump into our next beer.
Could you though?
I could. I won't, but I could.
I think it's pleasant. I'm not gonna lie to you and say I have not drank this beer in the shower before, because I have. No?
You are just.
What? I am a fan of shower beer, and something fruit and light like this is perfect.
You are a fan of liquids. Anything that you can consume that has any sort of flavor, like maybe stronger than water, you comment and compliment. This,
You're not a fan of this?
I mean, it's like drinkable. It's smooth.
You like European beers, man. This is
I know. I
is
know.
on the
Again, I'm the guy that says what's that word that I just said? The
saison.
saison. Yes, I'm that guy, Brandon. You got to know if a guy says saison, there's something wrong with him. So that's me.
They're just really French or Canadian or Belgian. No. This is actually a Belgian beer there for those people.
Belgium is actually the country of my favorite beers too. So
Yeah, they make
Yeah.
some solid beers. So I might butcher this as well, but as far as I know, saisons were kind of, it literally just means season in French. And these are not really the leftovers, but kind of the leftovers. Oh, it exited out. But these are kind of like, they only make these during certain times of year, during certain seasons, you know. And here, I'm gonna swap this a bit. Yeah, so they only make these certain times a year, and from what I know, it used to be done with like kind of like leftover stuff. So like skins and shit like that. But it works into a good beer.
And they're always seasonal. Like that's
Yeah.
their specialty. It's only available 2 or 3 months a year.
Yeah, it's usually a
Nice.
really short-lived kind of thing. People would sit out on the grass and drink it. It'd be really nice.
It's too early. I remember towards the last part of our podcast or our stream last time, you started whipping out the accents. Is it that time already?
I do weird things. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like if I had a podcast, I would just really throw people off. I've thought about it. I've thought about converting these into a podcast.
Yeah, I mean you could just strip the audio. And
just
be-
taking
it'd
the
be
audio
really,
straight up.
Really easy.
I feel like people wouldn't listen to more than about 5 minutes. What's the best shower beer? I like Lone
Oh,
Star. So what do you
goodness.
guys enjoy being in Wien, or what's most boring? Being in Wien?
Said Wien?
Sprechen die Deutsch. No, I don't speak German.
You've set some high expectations.
Good shower
Brandon.
beer. For me, I don't really have a favorite shower beer. I don't really do stouts, and I don't really do light beers. I like gozas. I like saisons, sours. I like a fruity wheat, or a really fruity IPA. I can run that.
I have to admit, I've never had a beer in the shower. I've maybe all of 2 times in my life had a beer while taking a bath, and I didn't really. I can't even remember what beers they were at this time.
It wasn't pleasant.
I mean,
It wasn't memorable.
Yeah, it wasn't super memorable. It was probably just like, oh, today's been a bad day, and I love taking baths and I love beer, so it's like I'm just gonna try and do both these things at once, and it wasn't amazing.
They don't like sour beer.
I hate shower beer.
He doesn't like sour beer either. I tried to put some in there. There was
Yeah, there were probably the other 6 that I did not
Yeah, I
choose
brought
all sours.
a lot of beer in there, and he just kept pulling out the sours, and he said, "Okay, I'm cool with running these 5. What's the other one you want?" I like to have a mix. You've had lots of different sours though. There's so many good ones out there.
I've tried, and by try I mean like sip and then no thanks, 5 or 6. So I've tried enough to know that out of the 5 or 6 I've had, it's been literally a 100% no ratio.
Take a shave, hippies. Take a shave. The way it was said, I assume this is a person not native to the States. Take a shave, hippies. No, these are actually popular in the States.
My parents were hippies for what it's worth. I've never been called a hippie. That's kind of fun. Have you been called a hippie before?
When I had dreads, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. People kept trying to get drugs from me, and I'm like, I don't do any drugs. And they're like, of course you do drugs. You have dreads. You're a white guy with dreads. I'm like,
It's probably
yeah, that's a fair assumption. Most white
Sounds pretty
guys,
factual,
yeah,
yeah.
but I actually don't do any kind of drugs, so that's weird.
Alright.
Basement facial hair party. We here, and I'm wearing the. If anybody's a Monkey Island fan, maybe not. All of like 2 people. This is the Got Grog shirt. Nobody plays Monkey Island. It's a little too old for most people.
I'm sure my buddy Jacob plays.
The Pirate LeChuck.
Gotta ask him. That is a funny way to say that. I keep wanting to use that as a paper towel, by the way. That is very dangerous to have.
I know, that is my microfiber towel. That's what I wipe down my lenses with.
Yeah, that would not be awesome to wipe barbecue stains with.
I mean, you can get another one always. They're fairly cheap. I mean, I bought a little cheap camera, and that one's the one that came with it.
What else did they say?
Oh, it's all for me, Jolly Jolly Grog.
Oh, nice. You have a Grog fan. Like somebody else the other person who played
Dude, Monkey Island.
Monkey Island.
It was so good. It was so good. The banter and stuff in there was just great. Like the sword matches, whenever you find a pirate when you're walking around and you have to get into a sword match with them, it's all about a match of talking shit to them. So you would say like, it's been a while since I've played the first one, but I'm trying to remember some of the insults. It was like, you fight like a cow. And then if they had the perfect retort, so they have questions as well to say, or answers, responses, and if their response is better than your response, you'll kind of like go backwards and kind of lose a bit, and you throw it sounds stupid, but man, the game was so great.
No, please go on. Holy so sword fight battles with like your mama jokes and stuff.
Basically, you're talking shit to them.
Okay.
Almost like Monty Python style, talking shit to them.
Nice.
And yeah, it was great. I loved the whole series, all the ones I've played.
I'll have to watch somebody play it sometime. It sounds cool. Again, I've never heard of a game where you win by insults. It's fun.
No, that's
cool.
a very small portion of it. So it's a point and click adventure where I need that to go off. It popped up on my screen. You away. But so it's a point and click adventure, and you're picking up random items. You don't really know what you're going to need them for, but later in the game, you're going to need them. So you might find a string out somewhere, and then you find a stick, and then you see a box with a mouse by it. You need to get a job somewhere to get some money. So to get to the job, they're like, oh, we're full. We can't hire you. We already have a chef. You use the stick with the string, and you get a Cheeto or like a chip from somewhere, and you catch a mouse under the box.
You're using so many words.
You put the mouse in the food, and then you go around and order the food and complain that there's a mouse in it, and the guy gets fired, and you get hired.
Goodness.
And the guy's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and pay you a whole year's salary up front. Like, ridiculous.
This is the same game, Monkey Island, just to
Yes.
clarify. Anybody who might have just tuned in randomly, he was just explaining a game.
It's a point-click adventure, so you'll get odd things through the game, and you don't really know what you need them for, but in due time, you'll figure it out. And if not, you can go online and cheat.
Like everybody does.
Well, back in the days, there was a phone line you could call. Like, Nintendo had it too, and you could call up and get help.
That's impossible. You were a liar.
No, it is in the instruction booklet.
That is crazy.
That was a service that they provided, that you could call up, and they would give you help if you're stuck. And they're like, where are you at?
Hey, you suck at this game? We're here to
Dude,
help.
no, it's just like the stuff that you have to do, it just doesn't make any sense at all why you would need to do that. So you get this guy fired from his job. You work one day. You actually don't even work one day. After he gives you the money, you sneak out the back. You have this money now, and you hire a ship to get you somewhere. Like, it's...
I feel like I have to play this game. That's a lot of information.
They've done remastered versions
yeah.
with voice acting in it.
Dang.
They're
I'll give it
actually-
a try. I mean, I'm
He's
sure
not.
some of my... I would... Not by giving it a try... By giving it a try, I mean, I will watch somebody play it.
Oh, okay.
Or hear somebody talk about it with their personal opinion, too. But
You'll
yeah,
do
I'm
you'll
not-
do
I don't
a speed
do
run.
super well with old school stuff. I can watch it or hear about it, but that is indeed the extent of...
I very rarely find people who are like, dude, Monkey Island? Oh, I love that. Actually, I think I've had it one time since I've wore this shirt, and I've had this shirt for years. So,
I'm sure my buddies would wear it to my store, and 90% of people would probably like, oh, dude, dang.
if they are old enough to play the Commodore 64, they might.
I'm sure we have some people that meet that standard.
So we are 2 beers down.
Yeah, choose.
I actually
your
want this
poison, sir.
porter.
Do you want to go? This is actually the one I'm looking most forward to.
Because
go ahead and...
the guy from Highland Brewing, his name was Gordon. Super cool guy. He was one of the reps from Highland. Rep Highland. He gave me lots of swag. If you guys don't know what that is, reassess your life. But he gave me lots of free stuff, and I told him I would have it on my show, and I did. He was talking about new beers that he was going to come out with, and the Thunderstruck Coffee Porter was one of them. He didn't have a sample to actually give me any. He says it's not even out yet. And I saw it at the store, and I was like, fuck, I gotta get that. I am a huge stout fan, but I will say that if it is like a bourbon barrel stout and it's like too heavy, like if they go real heavy on the bourbon and it tastes like I'm drinking straight bourbon, I'm usually not a fan. I like the bourbon to be more of like a suggestion. Kind of underpoured you there. Sorry, sir.
Monster.
I'm a real piece of shit. It's from Asheville. And it is labeled as Rich Roasty Dynamite. Thunderstruck Coffee Porter. Asheville, North Carolina. These guys make really good beer. They're really famous for their Highland Gaelic Ale. And I would say about maybe 2 months ago we had like 4 or 5 of their beers on.
Dang. Out of the 6?
No, dude, they have a crap load of beer. I mean, in the future, I could always do. Where's that other one at?
I went to Elements Coffee today and I tried a couple. I didn't even know they had beer. Elements Coffee serves beer now, and that blows my mind.
They've had beer for probably 2 years now.
It's probably my first time there in 4, so that makes sense.
I used to winter in Asheville. Asheville's nice.
To Jake.
What's the next one?
RTJ.
Skull.
I don't know.
I'm just running through. Ooh,
Dang, that's
that coffee's
potent smell. Yeah.
that's very coffee. I've been saying basically cheers in other languages.
Nice. Do you know how to say it in Mandarin?
No, I was waiting for you to chime in.
That's crazy. Everybody knows how to say it in Mandarin. Do you know how to say it in Japanese? Didn't you live in Japan for like
I was a little
40
kid.
years or something? You
Um,
were a little kid. That is the
Ganpai?
ideal. Yes, yeah, pretty much. Exactly that. And in Mandarin, it's ganbei. It's almost
Ganbei.
exactly the same. That's
Yeah.
literally what my license plate is. If you look at my car, the back of my plate says ganbei.
is it ganpei?
Ganbei.
Like
Yeah.
almost like with the G sound?
So in Mandarin, gan means dry, and then bei means beizi, like glass. So the literal idiomatic translation is
drink that
dry your glass.
Drink that shit.
Bottoms up, cheers, whatever you want to word it as.
I
yeah.
said skål, which so like a lot of Scandinavian, they'll pronounce it just slightly different, but when I was in like Norway and Denmark and Sweden, skål was what they used. And the guys I was hanging out with, the Danish, they were telling me that like the Vikings back in the days would drink drinks out of like defeated foes' skulls. And that's where it came from, like skål. And then later on they're like, no. I actually don't. That's not correct.
What, the saying that word or the drinking from people's skulls?
That's Russian. Zastrovia. Zastrovia.
Have you retained 6 ways to say cheers? We still have 3 more to go. Are you going to be able to make it? You can't use ganbai or ganbei anymore.
I already said sláinte, which is Irish.
Mm-hmm. You just said screw.
Skål.
Yes, that one.
I was trying to think what it was in Italian.
Yahtzee, maybe?
No.
You sure? You know this is good barbecue when it still tastes good cold.
Yeah.
Dang, this is tasty.
Zastrovia. I think that's what he said. Zastrovia. I think that's Russian.
See, this is my favorite beer of the evening so far. This has flavor. This has like that's right, that feels good.
If you guys want to get a close up.
Yeah, this is...
Though I probably should adjust the focus on that. I'm sorry there's a light above kind of killing it, but I haven't worked out a perfect Prost. There's Russian.
Proust.
Prost. Yeah. I haven't worked out a perfect beer cam kind of setup yet. And I only come here once a week, really. Buzz beer.
Beer.
Are you on Twitch right now?
Yeah, I can cycle through them just back and forth.
Facebook would be ideal, just in case
Okay.
just in case people say something. I mean, because I have the Twitch comments right here. So you're a big fan of this one? Yeah, he's chugging it down. I don't know if you guys are seeing.
Shut your mouth! Don't judge me.
Let's pan out so you guys can kind of. Oh, he's covering
I
it
don't know
up.
what he's talking about.
Skål.
Yes, indeed, I am kind of chugging this beer, but I'm not a huge I don't drink coffee, and that probably has a big influence on it. But even with that, this is still good. That's how I know this is a good beer. A non-coffee drinker can drink this and say, "Damn,
You don't like
that's a
coffee
good
at
beer."
all?
Oh, I hate coffee.
Really?
I hate coffee. And Jake has made me, RP Jake. Jake has made me some like, this is real coffee, and I've never had any good coffee. Big tea guy, big beer guy, even a big water guy. But coffee, no.
Halim Brewing.
And
Good
this
job,
is
man.
good. Yes.
He's not even a huge beer guy. Like, he doesn't like all different forms of beer. He's very picky with his beer.
I think
But he
today
actually likes
I
us a
might have-
lot.
Yeah, today I might have had 500 or 600 different beers. I'd have to go through my pictures, but what I was doing is every beer I drink, I'd save the bottle, I'd take a sticky note, write what out of 5 stars it was, and then why, and then just slap it on the can, slap it on the bottle.
Yeah.
I've had a bunch of beers, and I've of course had my fair share of bad beer, but
Oil Sand 1944 says, I usually have Jack and Coke.
Jack and Coke. See,
Jack and Coke
and
classic.
I actually cannot drink mixed drinks like that. I have to get the shot, throw it back, then drink it with Coke chasing it. I can't. I just haven't been able to develop the taste buds or the tolerance
the palate
to
for
take
it.
such a strong flavor.
I, for the longest time, couldn't do any kind of whiskeys, bourbons, even a brandy. Couldn't do it for a long time. I was at a party.
I've been working on brandies.
I was at a party, and it's my first. They were playing a card game, Waterfall. It's my first card, and basically I had to drink the cup that was in the middle, and the cup in the middle had everybody's drinks kind of poured a little bit into it. So it's just it's a cauldron of filth. It's nasty. And yeah, it was my first card. And most people were drinking like bourbons, and my one best friend was drinking brandy. He's he was drinking brandy. He was on an E&J brandy kick. Anyways, I start drinking this, and then somebody makes me laugh, and it just all shoots out my nose. So I smell it for a long time, for days. And giving it days is still giving it a bit much. It burns all through your nose. So anytime I would get next to it, I'd get shivers all up my arms. I've gone past that, so now I actually do drink it from time to time. But I've always been more of like a vodka fan, and I'm trying to acquire a palate for wine. I think if I can get
I'm actually about to order maybe not soon, but in the next month or two. There's this website called Naked Wines, and they have some like introductory. Here's what we recommend: a little 12-pack or 6-pack. I want to get into wine too, is what I'm trying to say in the short form of that. Yeah, I'd like to try. Yeah, that'd be.
We
fun.
could run a skit, man.
That'd be cool.
We could run an episode
Yeah.
because I'm not a big wine fan, so.
The only wine so far, personally, I've been able to drink, and it's like 9 out of 10 of them I've liked, is Moscato. But apparently
it's like a
most,
super sweet.
yeah. Most wine people hate those. They
It's like
joke on them,
yeah, it's like saying I like beer. Well, I'm not really a big beer fan, but I guess I could drink an Angry Orchard or a cider. That's kind of like on that same level.
See, and I hate both of those. So dang, I'm sorry, wine lovers, for insulting you for the last.
I was in Italy during Halloween, and I was at a big party, and I wasn't gonna really get. So the wine was just so cheap, so I just had to get over the fact that I really wasn't I didn't have a. It's not that I hated it. I didn't really like it. I didn't really seek it out. But
if you got drunk enough, then you just.
Oh yeah, it was good after a
yeah.
while. Yeah, I was hanging out with 2 Russians, and they were really throwing down. And I had my bottle of wine, and I think I bought for like €2, dirt cheap. And I'm just like, glug, 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 glug,
You
just
had your
chugging
big
it
case of
down.
wine, your big box wine, just.
No, man, they've got
Camelback.
good wine over there, man.
Yeah.
Good wine
Really?
in Italy, yeah, man. Good wine and cheap, super cheap. 2 bottles for a bottle of wine, €2.
2 bottles for a bottle of wine. I will trade you these 2 empty bottles for 1 bottle.
We're going somewhere. We should work that business out. I will give you 2 empty bottles of wine for 1 regular bottle of wine.
Sold. That would not last very long, I assume. Whew.
So I'm guessing you were a fan.
Yeah, that one was.
You chugged that one down, man. That's the first beer you've actually beat me
Yeah,
on.
beer 1, beer 2, I'd give, just because it's so drinkable, I would give it a solid 1 out of 5. This one, 2.5 out of 5. Like that
1 out of 5, I feel like, is just garbage. That's something that is hard to
obviously
drink.
the lowest I can give with that, and I've never been able, just because that's not how it works, to give a beer a 0 out of 5. But I've had my fair share of 0.5s, and they're just miserable.
This person's having difficulty. I like Nelson Mandela. Wait, no, Ricky Nelson. Willie Nelson. I like Willie Nelson as well.
What if it's the ghost of Jake saying these things?
It could be.
That seems like those are
R.I.P. Jake.
yeah, R.I.P. Jake. Those seem like really Jake things to say. You could go ahead and choose the next one too. Let me just say the names of the next ones coming. We have Belgian style Golden Ale. I'm always a fan of those.
We'll let
We
you
have
guys choose if you want.
Pecan Amber Ale. And this is just the silliest, craziest, coolest name maybe in the world. Groovable Lager.
Vibin.
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 Oh, you're trying to say it in a German way?
Vibin.
They're vibing, man.
Oh, goodness.
Feeling it.
Oh,
I'll
gracious.
spin it this way so you guys
Yeah.
can actually
So
see
we
it.
have Pecan, Belgian style Golden. I usually get scared when I see Belgian style instead of actually just Belgian wheat ale, but there have been some decent ones. But yes, the Groovable is easily the most strange of the
You're
remaining.
still on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm getting pecan. People are saying pecan, man. Let's run it.
You think somebody who's allergic to pecans could have this beer?
Are you allergic to pecans?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not allergic to anything.
No, I would say no.
Okay.
I'm not allergic to anything either.
Oh, here's to us and our perfect human strength. And Jake. R.I.P. Jake.
R.I.P. Jake. All right, North Coast Brewing Company. This is out of California.
Dang, smell that, dude.
Bragg, California. Fort Bragg. Sorry,
Oh,
guys.
That was a nice smell.
I like
to
the
it.
idea. Like it says, Belgian style golden ale. Prankster is the name of it, and it's got like this old, aged 1700s photo of. I
So
don't
just
know,
to clarify, they
a bunch
said
of Belgian monks.
you said people were saying pecan. They want to see the pecan, and you opened the Belgian style.
Oh, I thought this was the pecan.
Yeah, that's what I thought too because I smelled it, and because I
I'm
thought
a-
it was, I was like, dude, that smells just like pecans.
I am
But
a
that
shit
shows-
human. I am subhuman piece of shit.
So that shows how advanced we are with our beer taste
Prankster
buds.
follows in this tradition using mixed culture of antique yeast
You are a bastard, Brandon.
strains and produces a floral nose. Okay, I'm getting it.
So again, this is Belgian style golden ale, not pecan, which
Yeah,
I thought
sorry,
it was,
guys.
or pecan, if you want to say it the right way.
No, we're not going that way.
We're
We're not
going-
adding French to everything.
By the end of these beers, I'm pretty sure you're going to be saying pecan and croissant.
Well, these guys catch a gander. The light is too bright. They
Do
can't
you
see
work
it.
for? What's going on with this gander word? You've said it a couple times tonight.
What's that?
You got a new? You working for Gander Mountain now?
Yeah, man. I gotta use.
I've never used that word in a sentence. I've never actually said gander to.
I'll let these guys catch a peek. There. And
I swear I smell pecan, but it's because you screwed with my
yeah.
emotions, man. Did you smell the pecan too? Did you smell it before you realized you made a mistake?
no, I just like the smell.
Oh, good.
It does have the good color of a good Belgian.
One of these weeks, you'll have me on, and I'll bring some like pick your own beers, like the Lighthouse liquor that just.
Yeah.
the
Have you ever gone to
buy one, pick one.
Warehouse?
Oh yeah. Excuse
Warehouse.
me. Warehouse is actually what I meant to say. Yeah, they have some of the ones that I've grown quite
I
fond.
love Louisiana. A lot of good music. Where is that even real? Is this Jake right now?
Jake.
R.I.P.
Jake.
Oil Sands, 1944.
Can we please just assume that is Jake? I'm going to talk about it.
Oh,
I know
the,
we're not supposed to,
The
but I
elephant
have
in the
to.
room that's right there. Has no ears. You know, a lot of color missing. Part of its nose is ripped off.
Used to have ear canceling headphones on at least. Now it's just a creepy, like, it's disturbing. I need to drink this just to get away
He's the
from
only
it.
reason people still watch.
That and probably Dokapon, and people probably don't want to forget Jake yet.
Well, that's definitely very Belgian.
Yeah, that's a solid beer. Yeah,
So,
that's a one for me. That's a 1.5 or 2 as well. Like that has.
wow, nothing's getting up there. So, this beer was, you said, like a 1.
Yeah,
I
the
find
first
a
two,
1 is usually something that
It's.
is something that is just disgusting.
It sounds like an insult, but I promise you, my .5s, like what I used to write on those sticky notes, I do like a small, either a really long sentence or a small paragraph about why it shouldn't even be in existence. Ones to twos are what I expect most beers to be. I've only ever had probably 10 to 23, and maybe I think 1 or 2 4-star reviews.
Nothing's a 5.
Never.
Five is
never had a 5.
5 is orgasmic. You drink it.
Life changing.
Yes.
Epiphany creating. It's just yes. I would love.
So
to
that
have
is a
5
1.
out of 5. Yes, 1 and 2 were both 1s, only because there just wasn't anything special. I already forgot the flavor. I already forgot. Like, I'll never go into a bar or anywhere that serves that and say, that's what I want. Do you have this on tap? Whereas beer 1 and even this beer, if there were 10 to choose from and I didn't know the others, I wouldn't even risk. I'd probably get a flight, to be honest. But if I didn't want to do that, I would just order this.
So what about the third one? The coffee?
Yeah, I like. Don't you remember? That was a 2. 2 out of 5, Brandon.
2. That's just decimating. I would give number 1, the first beer, I would give that probably a 3. 3 for me is a good middle ground.
Crazy.
Number 2 is a 3. Number 3 beer, I would say is like a 3.5. This is like a 3.5.
See, I feel like your star levels, you only have 3, 3.5, and 4. I don't think you would ever insult a beer and say
I've
less
had
than
some
3.
that I was just like, there was one beer that was just so insanely sour that it was rough.
There was that one we had on our last stream, man, where it was can't remember what it was, but we were both like, no.
No, we couldn't get through it.
We did.
It was not happening.
Yeah, that was, yeah, that one still gets me. I forget what it was. It was just too. Do you remember? Remember what I'm talking about?
No.
It was like too many flavors. It was like a 9%, and it was just.
I mean, I could look it up later.
Yeah.
I could definitely look it up later. I've got all of them saved, all the beer I've had.
Yeah. See, that would be my, because you've mentioned a couple
we
times.
We do 6 beers per show.
Yeah,
this is probably our 15th or 16th
beers,
show.
15 or 16.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because maybe more than that.
I'm trying to do the math on that, but I just can't do the math on that for me.
You've been on 3 at least. This is your 3rd.
Yeah.
You're actually like the only reoccurring person.
I've never like. I thought you've had a couple.
Besides Jake, obviously is the co-host.
R.I.P. Jake.
R.I.P. Jake. Besides Jake, I've never had anybody else on a second time.
Well,
not that
I'm honored, sir. Yes, thank you.
Not that I'm dogging anybody else who I haven't had on, and don't think that I don't want to have you on again. Because if you do have the time and you can work it out, I'm down. So when Jake gets back, I want to do.
Brandon here is not dealing with Jake's absence too well. He's not coming back, Brandon.
Jake is coming back.
He's not.
Maybe not to you, or in time he will come back to you. Maybe he should do like the Sunny in Philadelphia, the way that they squash their beef.
You don't watch Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, I do.
No, you don't.
You watch Sunny in Philadelphia?
I love Sunny in Philadelphia.
You saw the episode where they were trying to squash their beef?
Remind me, like, what actually... I know, like, it's weird because I know the name of the episode, but I can't remember what exactly happened.
So they try to go to some places to rent movies and so on, and they keep getting denied service because they have so much beef everywhere. They just fucked so many people over because everybody on the show is just a piece of shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And so they're like, you know what? We've got way too much beef. We've got to squash this beef. And so they invite everybody they have beef with to have dinner with them and to kind of squash the beef. And they serve them.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving
they serve them
episode.
squash and beef. And Sweet D has this thing of like, there's a slate and they're cleaning the slate. Didn't really go over too well. They called her a bird, and
bird.
Per usual.
Nice.
But spoilers. They end up catching their apartment on fire. Somebody ends up catching it on fire. I think it was probably Frank. And they lock everybody inside.
That was beautiful. Yeah, that was the season finale.
And then the following episode of the new season, they see Rickety Cricket, which they just completely ruined this decent person. And he's got a huge scar over his face and where his face has been melted. And they're just like, oh, shit.
Do you know who Rickety Cricket is married to?
D. No.
No,
somebody's married to D. Mac's married to D.
Yeah. Rickety Cricket is married to Bones. Like, the Have you ever heard of Bone, like the TV show Bones?
Oh, yeah.
That the chick, maybe Temperance Brenner. Does that sound right? Is that her name? I don't know. But he's married to that TV star.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of the show The Mick?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
About an Irishman?
You should check it out. No, it's awesome. It has Dee from Sunny. So imagine Dee.
Is it? I think I've heard of it. Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I binge watch very few shows, but that was my most recent one, and it's take Dee from Sunny, and then give her her own full story background blown out series, and that's what this does. They throw her into, it's literally Dee in kind of like a different situation. No Charlie, no Mac, no Frank, none of that. She's thrown into this crazy situation. It's just
They tried that with
if you like Sunny, you will love the Mick.
with Dennis.
Oh,
Dennis
that was
some kind
terrible.
of substitute teacher.
Oh, I hate that show. The Bad Teacher. That is a 0 out of 5 for me.
Really?
I tried like 3 episodes, and it's so terrible.
He's just Dennis in it.
No,
though.
he's not. No,
He's not?
like he's just.
I love just when Dennis goes off on the rails. Like, idiots. And he's just like so
I'm
mad.
the golden god or whatever. Like he's just.
But these guys going back to that first episode or into that season where they see his face and they're like, "Oh shit, what's wrong with your face?" And he's like, "Don't you remember?
His head is like 30%.
You locked me
bigger."
in. You locked me into the house when it got set on fire." And they're like, "You weren't there." And he was like, "Yes, I was. We would remember if you were there." Like some of his biggest trauma, and they don't even remember him being there.
They never do. Nobody
They're
remembers cricket.
they are a piece of shit humans, but you can't help but like them.
You should really try the Mick. I think you'll like. Did you
Is
ever
this-
watch Bad Teacher?
Is it still
Did you
going
try
on?
it?
Uh-uh.
So here's the thing. It had 2 seasons, pretty much 24 out of 24 or 40 out of 40, however many episodes there were. There was only maybe 1 or 2 kind of episodes. The other ones were golden.
What about rated between everybody else, not just you?
It has really solid feedback. But the problem is nobody watches it. Like, for some reason, not even Sunny fans, I'm assuming you've been a Sunny fan since the beginning. Maybe since the beginning I have. A lot of Sunny fans just never picked it up. And so season 2, it ended perfectly. It was hilarious. Just the worst possible beautiful thing that could have happened. And it set it up perfectly for season 3. Boom, canceled. No, like, it gave you this crazy, dumb, perfect cliffhanger, and they'll never, like, it's done.
That's the way it is,
It's
man.
done.
Same way with, R.I.P. Firefly.
And R.I.P. Jake, yeah, I remember.
R.I.P. Jake,
yeah.
R.I.P. Firefly.
Holy crap, dude. I'm getting worked up just talking about it.
Firefly?
Yes, Jake. And the Nick. They, they didn't have enough time.
Currently, I am watching, I'm working through Carnival Row, and I'm working through Man in the High Castle.
Is that the one where...
It's a Philip K. Dick novel turned into a
That's
movie.
the one where, like, the Nazis won?
Yeah,
or
so
something?
Nazis
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
Japanese won, and you're in like an occupied United
I want
States.
to watch that, yeah.
It was
Jake
actually pretty awesome.
Jake actually, when he was still around.
R.I.P. Jake.
R.I.P. Jake. He told me.
Yeah, they find these films that show an alternate reality where, the U.S. won. So it shows like they're not pictures, they're not something. This is like in the '60s, so it's not something they could modify. It's it shows like Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It shows events that happened in our timeline, but not in theirs. And Hitler's infatuated with these, and he's been, collecting them. And it's actually illegal to even have them because it goes against the Reich or it goes against the Japanese Empire. So it's a resist. It's like it centers around multiple characters. It's not just one character.
How many though? Is it too many? Because I've tried a couple shows where it seemed super awesome. Like it seemed like something that I'd like to try.
Yeah.
But then there's like 6 or 8 main characters and.
So there's the trade minister, who's basically like Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. If you remember that old movie, it's that actor. There is the girl who gets caught in between the resistance and kind of becomes the resistance. Her boyfriend. The guy at the antique store.
Less than 5? Is it safe to say around 5 or
4 or
less than
5?
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
It kind of cycles between their stories.
I'd give that a try. Yeah.
No, it's awesome. I've been enjoying it. And Carnival Row is almost so you take like Industrial Revolution or like think of early 1900s, late 1800s, but in the United States, but take out the Irish, take out the other immigrants, and replace them with fairies and pucks, which are basically like they've got hooved feet and they've got horns, but they've immigrated in because their country is shit, or there's some kind of turmoil or war, or they're getting hunted down, so they're coming into the United States, and the natives there are like against them. They're like, they're looked down upon. So Carnival Row is like this really bad back alley where they all kind of live. It's this kind of shady part of town where a lot of the immigrants live.
That sounds kind of cool. Yeah.
And the fairies are not like little pixie fairies. They look like they're regular people, but they
like normal size.
Yeah, but they have wings, and apparently their bones are really hollow. That allows them to fly.
And what platform or what service is that from?
I think that is on maybe Amazon Prime.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have them all.
So I'm enjoying it. Yeah, and it's Orlando Bloom's the main character.
Whoa, okay. I haven't seen him since
he is
either Lord of the Rings or Pirates of the Caribbean.
He's a detective that is trying to be neutral, but he sympathizes the fairies, and you're not really sure why. I'm not going to throw out any spoilers to why he sympathizes with them.
It's
been a great show, though.
A couple days ago, I actually got back into Malcolm in the Middle. I'm on maybe episode 8 or 9. That show.
If you watch that, you got to watch Freaks and Geeks too.
I haven't heard of that one. It's that look. Ooh,
you might not like dumb humor.
Look.
No.
Well, give me some other examples you would call dumb humor. Is Sunny dumb humor?
Yes.
Okay, well then yes.
Yes. So
but it's a
the
very
characters
specific dumb humor.
So it's like Seth Rogen before he was famous.
Okay.
It's James Franco before he was famous.
Whoa. Okay.
Like it's a bunch of those in a show about high schoolers. It's great. The girl who played Velma in the recent live action Scooby-Doo movies, she's in it.
But this is way back, Freaks and Geeks.
90s.
Whoa.
Maybe early 2000s.
Okay.
Early 2000s maybe.
Try that too.
Late 90s. I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that.
Cretan Fuller says, "Yo, where have you been?"
Keaton, my dude. Yeah, he travels a lot. Keaton speaks multiple languages.
Okay.
He's big. He's a big Cambodia fan. He loves Cambodia.
So Brandon.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Where have I been? I've been at Mello. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen Keaton there in a while. Keaton goes wild every time. So Keaton is free. He can do kind of whatever he wants, and I envy that. And I'll get to that one day. But I was supposed to go off to Southeast Asia, go through Vietnam and Cambodia and Thailand, and I was going to meet up with Keaton because he's a wild man out there, and he knows his way around. Keaton speaks multiple languages too. He's a cool guy.
Mr. Keaton, have you ever been to Taiwan? Because I'm a huge fan of Taiwan. Now, before he answers that, should we do the pecan or the groovy?
Pecan.
Yeah,
because I messed it up.
You really screwed up, dude.
I owe the pecan.
Let's be honest. You really screwed up, Brandon.
I screwed the pooch, as they say. This is a pecan amber ale, which I love amber ales. Conserve, Georgia. Line Creek Brewing Company. Locally brewed in Georgia. Where in Georgia, I don't know.
You got it.
32,000 acres in 5 states.
You're going a little too far there.
12 fluid ounces and 5.5 alcohol. Yeah, I'm just losing people. Peachtree City, Georgia. So, Atlanta. Let's not try to church it up. It's Atlanta, okay? Oh, I'm spilling it. I feel like when I talk about the South, I should talk about like an old Southern back in the days.
I feel like you shouldn't do that.
Magnolias.
I feel the exact opposite.
Pecan beer, just as sweet as magnolias.
Croissant.
Fast as a Carolina grasshopper.
You are a disturbing individual, Brandon.
I don't know how fast Carolina grasshoppers are. I just made that shit up. Brewed off the beaten path. I like the label, man. It's got all kinds of things that I would associate with Georgia. It's got tons of super green. Mountains are a little big for Georgia, but it is what it is. Deer, ducks. We got some cranes. We got a bear. There are some bears up in North Georgia. And pecans from Sunnyland Farms in Albany, Georgia. There's a little tie back to Albany, Georgia. Represent Albany, Georgia. Hole in the wall. No, not Albany, New York. Albany, Georgia.
Brandon, we should have been friends earlier.
Yeah?
We should have
I
been
agree,
friends
man.
earlier.
We've got lots of
Friends
mutual
earlier.
friends.
Yeah, 60 something of them to be
Yeah.
exact. If we consider every mutual Facebook friend a close friend.
All right, let's show this to the good people here. Conserve, Georgia, at a Peachtree City. It is a pecan amber ale.
Don't you do it. Don't you start that accent.
But I love that accent.
Okay. See, because of your monstrosity of your mess up from
I ruined it.
20
You
minutes
don't
ago,
smell
like,
pecans
I
now.
don't smell pecans anymore. Yeah, that's yours. Take that whole thing. Again, I have 2 or 3 more tubs of that. I should have. You know, I hate coleslaw. Do you like coleslaw?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I've never been able to eat it in my entire life, but this guy, the same guy who made this barbecue, makes coleslaw, homemade coleslaw.
Yeah.
Dude, gobble that stuff right up.
You don't like it though?
Awesome.
You never
No.
tried it?
Oh, before this guy, no. His coleslaw and barbecue combo when he sells it at the shop.
Who is
Oh,
this guy?
Jonathan. Actually not super familiar with his last name, but he went to Cordon Bleu and he does everything from the ground up. So this what you just ate, he literally he tells me he goes into Harvey's and he waits until that one time a month that pork or beef or whatever
Yeah.
is at its cheapest, and he makes this for literally the
Chump change.
Chump change, dude.
Mm.
It's beautiful. Everything he adds into it, everything he does, the smoking of it,
The flavor was
roasting
great,
of it,
man.
Yeah, I want more, and I'm super full, and I could still eat more.
Yeah, he's got a tub of this. So it's like Sloppy Joe barbecue sandwiches, done.
Yeah,
So if
just-
anybody wants to have anything from Jonathan, I mean, I know you said you don't really know his last name, you just know him as Jonathan. When's the next time he's going to be up? You said you guys
every
have.
2 weeks, he every 2 weeks.
So he was here.
He was here if today's Monday, yesterday. He was our
He was
chef
there
for
yesterday.
last night 6 p.m. and then this coming week, another personal friend of ours named Simon. He'll be our chef this week, and they just rotate.
Yeah, so Simon will be here next week. So if you guys are from Albany and you know the cool place, and if you don't, you need to know the cool place.
It's true.
Sunday after 6, you said?
Yeah.
So you want to get in there before the mall locks up everything and closes up. So at the cool place, Simon will be there this weekend, and the following weekend, Jonathan will be back, and I don't know if he'll have barbecue. I don't think
He mixes it up. He never brings
as
the same
a
thing.
good chef
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, it's about a 2-month rotation of food. We got lasagna. A couple weeks ago, Simon did enchiladas. He sold like 18 of those, and they sold out within 30 minutes. Yeah,
Damn.
enchiladas. You can take a guess what words I mixed up there.
Enchilada?
plus burrito.
Yeah.
Boom. Simon does those, and they're beautiful. They're both very, very talented chefs, and I'm always happy to have them bring it in. So I essentially just tell them, hey, bring your food. I'll sell it for you, and then they get like 90% of.
They do all the
Okay.
cooking there. They just bring it there.
They bring it, yeah. They have it
they sit there and-
prepared. They
and,
both have their serve safe, all that stuff, and we just resell it for them essentially. And it's
Well, I have a friend named Rob, and his wife would make. They weren't flautas, tortas. No. What is it with the corn husk around it? Think of like a burrito, but it has a corn husk around it. You pull off the corn husk. It's cooked in the corn husk, and you pull off the corn husk. Tamales.
you're just making up words.
No, it's tamales. So she would make tons and tons of tamales because his girlfriend's Hispanic, and she's
I
just
feel like
really
you're doing the croissant thing now. You're saying tamales.
tamales.
You're freaking me out, man.
So she makes the tamales, and they're really, really good. And she would bring them up to Mello, or he would bring them up to Mello, Rob, and they would sell out. Like, he would start doing pre-orders. So she's like, hey, I'm making tamales, and I'm going to bring them in Tuesday.
You're good. You're saying
And
character.
people
man.
would say, let me get 20 tamales. He's selling for $1 a piece. They're small.
I
So
mean,
like,
like small, like
So-
tiny little sticks.
so a tamale would be like, it'd be like that big, wide. It would be like that thin, but it'd be wrapped around the corn husk. And she's got like little corn husk ties around them, and she bakes them in it, and it cooks all the stuff in the corn kind of cooks into it. They're phenomenal. So people will be like, let me get 20 tamales.
I'm gonna get 20 of them. Nice.
Yeah, and then they'll just eat on them for a week. But that'd be awesome if she could do something through there.
Okay, so with that in mind, if you actually do really want to reach out to her, we sell trays for $6. It has to be in that, like, that's the magic number right now. $6 per tray or portion or whatever she wants to call it, and they get $5. We're again, it's like a tiny little markup.
Yeah, I mean, you're
needs
hosting
to be worth
it.
their time, and we're making, after frickin' tax and everything. I mean, we're literally making maybe 50 cents per tray.
Yeah, so
it's mostly just for the customers to have something in their bellies.
So if she were to do like a tray for $6, had 4 tamales with some homemade salsa and stuff in there.
Yeah, if she could make the numbers, make it be worth her time, then yeah, bring it on, man. We've had.
So how would she need to present it?
We've had Thai food, we've had Mexican food, obviously a bunch of American food. We've had so many good things. Oh, she doesn't have to do it. I sell it for you. Like, she could stay there and she would have to be the one that puts on the gloves and serves it out. But I'm the one who's like, hey guys,
she doesn't really speak great English.
That's fine.
He's like the English speaker.
That's absolutely fine. If you have food, that's fine. Mr. Gray Bear is saying something.
Oh yeah, Tall Simon tamale.
Yes. Why are you guys making up these words?
Gray Bear.
You don't have to impress me.
That is a friend of mine, and I was like,
I know who Gray. Do you?
I was
you
like,
know we Gray Bear.
I was like, do you know
Grayson?
that
Okay.
Gray Bear just means
Oh,
a gay burly man, right? Older gay burly man,
I feel
right?
like
He's like,
every
no, he's like, this is, I created this before I ever knew what Gray Bear was. I keep hearing this.
Do you actually remember previous Mondays? Grayson, who I
Grayson
know,
has come on before plenty of times, I think.
Yeah, like the last time we were on, we chatted with him probably as much as we chatted with each other. Like,
Old Grayson. He comes to Pretoria pretty often and gets beer.
But he says Tall Simon, and yes, Tall Simon, 7 foot. Simon is 7 foot.
Oh, I know Simon then.
Oh, do you?
He comes to Pretoria. He makes
He
a lot
probably
of.
does. He goes. I think he does. Trivia.
He's got a beard. He's kind of balding a little bit right here. Trivia, yeah.
Trivia, yeah. He does.
Yeah, him.
Alex the Wizard.
Alex. Yeah.
It's dumb how many people you know. I hate you. You know too many people.
I didn't know his name was Simon. I only know him.
No, that's Simon Tibbet or Tibet.
Tibbet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know the last name because we created an account for him.
No, I'm a huge.
He
I'm a
does.
huge Simon fan.
I don't know if it's
Simon
him or his wife that does pastries. So every once in a while he
It's
would
him.
bring in pastries,
It's
and they're
him.
just really well made.
I gotta say, I'm a little hurt that he brings those to you too. I thought that was like a cool place exclusive thing.
It's been a while, so maybe he's lost favor with Pretoria, and I would say it's been a couple months.
Simon,
you sack of shit, you tall ass.
He would
man.
He would destroy pretty much anybody. I'm glad I can consider Simon as one of my friends.
He's a cool guy. He's always been super nice to me.
I've never had a friend that tall. One of my employees, Chase Davis, he's like 6'6".
It took a little warming up, and I think I still need to get some more wiggle room, but.
Simon, and I've told Simon this in person, my first probably 6 or 8 times meeting him, it was very intimidating. Not like, oh, I'm scared of you, but like, I feel like everything I said was wrong and everything I did was wrong and nothing would satisfy. Like, he was a really, really difficult customer the first 6 to 8 times just because it was one of those situations where the customer knows that you don't know what you're doing. And it was just weird because
he's a smart guy.
He's really intelligent, but especially about Magic the Gathering, like he's probably the most knowledgeable Magic the Gathering, or at least one of the top 3. There's a couple others.
He's a multifaceted, skilled man.
Do you know what he's going to school for?
Mm-hmm.
X-ray. I want to say X-ray technician, but I feel like I always tell him that's what he's going.
I feel
to
like
school
he's
for.
so tall. If I ever had him on the show, he would have to sit on the ground.
That's probably true, or you'd have to get like an extra wide lens connected.
That's what that lens is a super wide lens.
But I mean one on that too, but going up.
Yeah, well, I could always just back the camera up, but I was just worried that, like, you know, I would be like way down here, and then he would just be way up here.
Simon's a good guy.
I like him. Yeah,
he has twins, little minions. Yeah, and they.
I've
come
never
into
seen
the
them. They
shop
don't go.
sometimes,
They don't go to Pretoria.
And he constantly tells me of their quarrels with one another. River really likes his minions too.
He comes with
yeah, they have
Alex.
a little posse, right?
Yeah, he comes with Alex, and they're called the Wizard's Brew. Is the name of their group.
You know,
I'm surprised you haven't gone up on Thursdays.
I am too. I am too because he's invited me a couple times. Like, he's told me I can come.
They win gift cards almost every time.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it would basically just be free beer.
See, and that's but the unfortunate thing is I would be that guy who just goes there just to talk to them or just be quiet and waiting for the free thing at the end of I suck at trivia. I have such little random knowledge in my head that I cannot do it.
But it's like it's such. Well, I guess it is just total random knowledge. It'll have like a scene from a movie, like an audio snippet from a movie, and you'll hear like, this is a tasty burger," and then, you're like, "Oh yeah, that's Pulp Fiction. I know what that is," and write it down.
Did you just create something?
No, that's from Pulp Fiction.
What's that?
Pulp Fiction.
R.I.P. Jake. Why aren't you drinking your beer? Why aren't you drinking your pecan beer? Is it because you're ashamed of what you've done?
No, man, I wouldn't do that. This is a Halim cam.
So, just to clarify, if my lips seem pink and red right now, we turned down the saturation by about 20%, so they were shining. It was disturbing how shiny my lips were earlier. I like seeing my lips here now and seeing how pink they still are. It really frightens me. So
don't worry about it. Simon carried us hard Halloween. Alex just played Resident Evil the whole time.
Well, I feel like that sounds about right. Yeah,
He's a smart guy.
So the main reason, to be perfectly honest, the main reason I haven't gone is because I only have ever, to this point, other than random emergencies that have happened, I've only let my part-timers cover Tuesdays and Saturday mornings. But I'm getting to the point where I'm comfortable enough with them that, yeah, if I get bored on a Thursday and feel like I want to do trivia, I'd love to do that.
And nobody's going to walk out with your laptop.
It's possible, though, still, always.
That was a funny thing. If you guys, I don't think we talked about it at all in the last show.
Because I don't want to.
You don't?
No, I'm just kidding. That's not a sensitive. It's still just a crazy story to me. It's the kind of thing that
it's the thing that you hear about,
read about, or watch, and you're like,
nobody's this fucking stupid.
Nobody's
this stupid.
Nobody, but yeah, surprisingly there are.
Tell them. Give them the Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes. I mean, the shortest 2 or 3 minute version would be: guy comes in, he's in the shop for 6 or 7 minutes. He's just looping around, walking around, and he sees, I guess, what looks like an appealing netbook. It's like this tiny little laptop that we have for our tournaments. I let my tournament organizers use it for Magic, for Smash, a couple other things. He's like, I feel like that would be, I'm assuming what he was thinking, that looks like a good laptop. I want to put that in my pants and steal it. So that's exactly what he did. He looped around a couple times. He grabs it, and I just to clarify, I have quite literally 19 cameras.
He wasn't there.
It is the number. It's 19 cameras in my store.
He was not there for this.
See, but I left about 20 minutes before he did it.
Yeah, because he was smart. Yeah. Well, not too smart, and you'll hear why, but he waited till he left, I'm sure.
Yeah, so the guy puts it in his laptop. He's walking around, pacing around, and it's just the craziest thing because about 45 seconds to a minute later, he loops back around and he's like, now I want that mouse. So he snatches the mouse. He takes out his wallet and maybe some keys or change or whatever. He takes out his wallet. That was the main part of that. In the pants pocket that he took it out of, he puts the mouse in it. He has the wallet in his hand. He walks up to the front counter, part-timer working at the time, Chase Davis, that big guy, 6'6",
Is he that tall?
He's big. Yeah, he's a big guy. He's really big.
Is he employed there again?
Yep, I actually rehired him just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But so the guy, and at this point he has his wallet in his right hand. He puts his wallet on my counter. He's talking to my part-timer Chase. He's hey, blah, 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 whatever he's talking about. Hey, cool shop, whatever. I like what you're doing here. Wallet on the counter. Reaches out again. My wallet or my laptop is in this guy's pants at this point. It's crazy. Shakes my part-timer's hand and walks out. Now you'll notice I did not say he grabbed his wallet off of the counter and put it back into his pants pocket because he didn't. He left. He left his wallet, and I'm talking full on, credit card, social security card, ID, everything, on the counter in his wallet. Boom, right there, and we were just blown away by that. I come back about 20, 30 minutes after the event happened. David, my brother, who conveniently just needed the laptop at that time. Hey, I need the laptop. I need to do
Yeah, I
some
was getting
stuff.
ready to ask you, how did you find out the laptop
So
was
it was lucky David was there too, because he's the reason we knew immediately, like, where was it? I was like, well, I had it, 45 minutes ago when we left the shop. Yeah, where is it? Chase, where is it? Oh, I don't know. So I'm like, well, this is weird. I know for a fact I just stood on a 9-foot ladder, tested the internet, and I had it in my hands. Where is it? So I go immediately to my camera system, my little security room, scroll through the things, and I'm waiting for it, and I see it. Boom, found the guy. I was destroyed. I was so pissed off about it. I made a Facebook post. That Facebook post got like, I don't know, Facebook on business or pages like that. They actually tell you how many people saw it exactly. It's like 4,000 or 4,000, 5,000 people like read this, reshared it. I think 100 and 150 something likes, which is crazy for a Facebook group, especially ours. It's like, this is a local store. You need to remember we're not Walmart. I was just all sappy because I was really hurt. I was really hurt it happened. That was it. I was like, we have your wallet, guy. We know who you are, and we have reported you to the police. Boom, done. Went to sleep, woke up. Next day,
More stuff happens.
yeah. Next day, maybe an hour or two after opening, the guy who left his wallet there comes back in looking for his wallet. After 4,500 people on Facebook saw that we have this guy's wallet and several different camera angles of him putting the laptop into his pants. So he comes in, hey man, I was just wondering if I left, did you guys by chance find a wallet? And I was on the phone actually with my distributor. I was like, dude, I got to call you back. I'll call you right back. Just give me a second. Click. Put the phone down. Like, yeah. Give me 1 second. Just 1 second. David, my older brother, because I didn't know what to do. Like, David's in the back. I'm going to go get David. Yeah, I'll be right with you. Walking back. Yeah, give me 1 second. David! I'm start screaming at this point, freaking out. The guy's like, I gotta go check on my mama. There's something wrong with my mama.
He was
like,
getting some vibes.
again, like, yeah, hey, you got my wallet? Yeah, give me 1 second. David! Yeah, I imagine he's getting some pretty clear signals at this point. So, yeah, go back. David, the guy's here. And this guy, he's already about, 50 yards outside of, like, back in the hallway, running away. And David and I, we chase him down. Security's conveniently walking out as this guy's walking out. Security! That's the guy that stole our laptop. Obviously, we'd reported him at that time. And we walk out. We go, like, into the mall parking lot. We're chasing him through this little alleyway thing. He turns around. He like, reaches into his pants pocket. Like, you better back up.
Really?
It was freaky, dude. Like, you better back up. You better back up right now. Something like that. Like, David, all right, David, calm down. And so our logic in the heat of the moment was like, if he actually had a gun, one of us would be dead by now. That was dumb. We should have been a little bit safer than that. But we were, again, adrenaline pumping. We actually chased him across 2 different highways, run through Bine Christian Academy schools, and so they had to, like, hop over fences and stuff. And you know where Bine is.
Yeah.
Anybody who's local knows where Bine is. They hop over the first little mall highway, the main highway, jump over the Bine fence, and apparently Bine at this time, I haven't actually told anybody this part. This was the crazy.
It's just
crazy
fresh news.
So again, it's the guy who stole our laptop, David, and I'm kind of watching them from afar. I'm like, yeah, I got to jump in on this. So jump over fence. They found some door at Bine Christian Academy that was open. They bolt through it, I'm assuming. I'm about 3-4 minutes in total behind them. I'm doing the same thing. Which door's open? Which one they go through? I'm going through Bine Christian Academy. Like a cook comes out, a teacher comes out. What's going on? Somebody's in here. They might have a gun. You got it. What? Where did they go? And they somehow, my brother and this guy went through without anybody seeing them. And so I'm in there. I'm sweating. Hair's even crazier.
It's the most workout you've got in a while,
dude. And I was freaking out. Where are they? There's a guy in here. He probably has a gun. You got it. You got to tell me just where did they go? And at this point, I see like little kids poking their heads out and stuff. Teachers coming out into the hallway, and Later on, I realized like this could have been handled better in everybody's situation, but they were like, "What do you mean? What are you going?" They're sitting there calling police, calling things, freaking out, and I'm like, "I own a store. It's in the mall. There's a guy has a gun. You should have seen him. He's very dangerous. He stole my laptop." And everybody's freaking out. I'm like, "I gotta go." I call my brother. They apparently they snuck through it without being seen, which blows my mind because they were like, "How did you get in here?" To me. Like, I don't know. There was a door that was unlocked. There shouldn't be. How did you do that? So I assume there were a lot of kind of panicked people and emails and parents and kids.
Worried, parents
out.
worried about guns.
Yeah.
They're seeing Columbine. They're seeing all this kind of crazy stuff happening.
It wasn't an awesome situation to go through, but yeah. So I go through. I eventually I don't have time to explain how you didn't see this guy and my brother go through your school. I don't know what to tell you. I gotta go though.
Step up your security.
So I go through. They're kind of like following. They're of course like following behind me because again I can only imagine how it looked from somebody's outside perspective. So I go through and then I see I call David. He's like, "Yeah, we got him. We're in front of Verizon." And if you know exactly where we're talking about, that's like across the street.
Yeah.
So they made it right outside of Vine, and then the cops showed up perfectly right after they passed through the school. Boom, cops showed up, arrested the guy, or at least put him into custody. And then I was like, "Okay, cool, I'm on my way." And then that was it. We got him, and I posted about that.
Not trying to put the guy's business out there, but what ended up happening with him? Is that kind of a? I'm sure that's all. I'm sure you could look that up on WALB or Google or something.
That gets into a little bit more of a complicated situation.
Let's backtrack a bit. We found your laptop, right? Your laptop got found. Your mouse got found.
So apparently, what in your Mrs. Raven found our laptop and mouse, as far as I remember, right? She's the one who went and brought it from Soho or somewhere.
I think she talked to somebody, but I don't know if she actually found it per se.
Okay, well, somebody in the mall told somebody, and then Raven was the first person who told me, like, "Hey, they found your laptop." Point is, they found it because before he came back into the store looking for his wallet he left, which I still can't believe.
That's like dumb criminal kind of meme right there.
So he took excuse me, I'm getting a little too worked up here. He took our laptop at that time, and he left it at another store in the mall, and he said, "Hey, I'll be right back for this." And he then came to ask us for his license or his wallet, and then at that time, obviously, everything I just talked about kind of went into pursuit, and that's when all the other, eventually security or Raven or somebody found the laptop, told me it was all back.
I'm glad you got all the shit back, man.
I posted about that, thanking Lee County and Albany police departments and everything. That was like a 6,000 or 7,000 people saw that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that was a wild one. Like 200 or over 200 likes and stuff. I was like, "Yeah, we got him. Everybody was stoked. And then I get a letter in the mail 2-3 weeks later. He was released. They told me exactly what he was given, like whatever fine, whatever probation, whatever. Here's what he has to do now because he robbed your store. But yeah, this guy was like, and I don't like saying this word so openly, but he had 2 or 3 different rape charges because you can Google his name and it pulls up exactly his criminal history.
Yeah, we're not going to...
He spent like 20 or 30 years in jail or prison.
He looked like a kid.
Yeah, he's 50-something years old.
Holy crap.
He's 50-something years old.
This was a grown man.
Yeah, and he's been convicted of those things. On top of that, several different cocaine possession charges, like all sorts of wild stuff, dude.
Sound like he had a rough life, man.
And, yeah, boo-hoo, you know?
No, I'm just saying, like, it looked like he's had a rough go of it.
But point is, yeah, he was in jail for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and only way before I got that letter, the only reason I knew he was back out is because some of my customers were like, "Dude, that guy is back in the mall, walking around the mall."
How is he not banned from the mall?
I would love to get into that, but I can't because that gets a little more complicated. The mall manager and I had a pretty long chat, but he I'm assuming by now knows that he should not be walking around the mall anymore. Let's just end it with that. But yeah, it was
He's banned from the store.
Oh, easily, yeah. He's probably our 6th banned person, but he's
wow.
Yeah. We're pretty. I'm pretty.
He's pretty band heavy.
Pretty band heavy, yeah.
you been to Magic Card? Fuck out of here. The fuck out of here.
A little more complicated.
That was a Black Lotus, dude. Get out of here.
I'm surprised you know that card, man. You were just a man of many mysteries, Brendan. But yes, that was probably a few more minutes than 5 or 6. But yeah, that was the untold story of what really happened.
Well, you know, we really got into it. You know, that we could have given out the cliff notes and it could have been short and sweet, but we both started getting into it. There's some information that I didn't know that I was definitely liking.
I'll always remember when I was.
You notice I put the
in
cam
hall,
like right
yeah.
on you, like.
I was in the hallway and I'm surrounded by I think 2 or 3 teachers, 1 or 2 lunch ladies, and I'm talking. Oh man, there's somebody in here. He probably has a gun. My brother was.
And they're just like,
yeah.
oh
but
my
again,
God.
Again. So I'm in the middle hallway, and I look this way, and I look down a long hallway, and I'm telling you, like 4, 5, 6, 7 different classrooms with like little kids poking their heads out, and I'm just like, I don't like this.
Panic.
I do not like being
Panic
here right
mode
now.
Instantly.
I do not like being here right now. But
yeah, no, I don't blame you. But it makes, if anything, it makes her memorable experience.
Yeah.
So I will say,
does.
like,
that's probably
tying it back to travel.
Yes, please tie that back to travel somehow.
It's always
Brandon.
it's always the crazy experiences that I remember the most. Like maybe at the time they weren't great, but in hindsight, like those are the ones that I remember. Like the small stuff, you know, like my first time having haggis or whatever, or like small
you delayed
things.
So long between saying the word that you said, I put like 4 words in my head.
That you were not thinking haggis, but no, like, but I was just using that for an
words.
example. But like a lot of my first. So when I travel, I like the first of things. So like it sounds stupid, but like your first footstep in Scotland, or your first time running in Ireland, your first fart in you know in Spain,
yeah, for sure.
First bowel movement in Italy. Like
I'm right there with you, man.
Like these first, I don't know, they're big. You know, when you live in a small town like Albany, and there's just the same small things over and over and over again, that when you go off into a new country or a new place, everything's a first. Everything you do is a first, and if you keep that in mind, you can enjoy your experience a little bit more. Yeah. But when things go haywire, when things don't go exactly as you planned, those are the memorable experiences. Those are the things that stand out in the front.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, mine mostly tie back to something like that influenced my life for a future point, maybe an emotional experience or a treacherous one where
exactly
like just miserable. Like a lot of mine would be like being at a hostel with nobody that I know, and then 2 giant. I traveled just the heaviest that I've ever met, and I mean that. Like,
when you say heavy, you mean like your bag being heavy?
Bags being heavy.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I only travel with 1 bag.
I would travel with a giant. I mean, talking about 60 to 75-pound suitcase. On top of 1 portable backpack I put on my back and a rolling thing. Like, what do I do? Like,
you did it wrong, sir.
I've traveled. I feel like how many years worth or months worth of travel have you had?
Okay, you got me there. Okay. You got me there.
See, and I'm not trying to say that in an insulting way, but I've actually I've traveled probably 4 or 5 years in total if I bunched it all up.
So
I never figured out the solution.
Me, I always pack into 1 bag.
That is insane. I've never been able to do that.
So what I do is I
know
pack.
That's what you're supposed
I wear
to do.
1 pair of jeans. I have a spare pair of jeans in my bag. Jeans are kind of heavy, so if you can find an alternative, go for it, because jeans are heavy. This is not a shout out to American Eagle, but I do like their jeans because they're stretchy. So I could do hikes like the Trolltunga in Norway. I could do that in jeans because I was able to have the mobility that I wanted. But all in 1 bag.
You're like most travelers I've met but I was never able to do that. I'm a glamper. I'm like, if we expand deeper into camping, I'm a glamper. I love being comfortable. When I go camping, I bring a full-on mechanical air pump with batteries in it.
Oh
pump up an air belt.
I'm sleeping on acorns
and that's been my travel style. Even though I've traveled all these years worth of whatever countries I've been to and however many times, I've always brought kind of like comfort and leisure as my priority packed into my suitcases.
So I always pack, everything goes into packing cubes. It just makes it easy for me. So when I go into a bag, I know these are socks and underwear. I know these are t-shirts. These are jeans. These are jeans and shorts, you know, or sweatpants or whatever, you know, if you're in a hostel.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
my actual shoes, and then I've got a spot that I put like flip flops because you're in a hostel, and you're in a shower, you don't want to go barefoot in there. So I've got some flip flops, or thongs if you're from Australia or New Zealand.
I'm going to use the restroom on that note.
So I always pack into one bag. Here, I'll swap the camera. I always pack into one bag. I make everything fit within that one bag. So I carry 3 shirts, 1 pair of jeans, not counting the pair that I already have. I bring all like the converters, the power converters. I have like a little weighing thing because some airlines it can't be over a certain weight. Deodorant, a lot of stuff honestly you can buy once you get over there. So the less stuff you have to worry about, the better. Like carrying around like the pulling bags like he did, it's insane. Like don't try to do that. If anybody actually ever needs help with travel, I can help you out. If you go off season, most of Europe round trip you can get there for $500 maybe. Like I said, if you guys ever need help with that, just hit me up, let me know, I can get you there. One bag and then one small bag, so like a day bag, something if you're, let's say you're in Austria, right? You're in Vienna, and you drop your actual bag off at the hostel or the hotel, and you have a small day bag, and it's got your maybe some kind of small snack from the hostel. It has maybe a raincoat. If you're in Ireland, it rains a lot, or in the UK. So it's like a little small rainproof jacket. You really don't need a lot in there, and you can go through a water bottle. That's about it. You have a day bag, and they're really small. You can usually ball them up and put them inside your actual bag. But I usually just have that one bag. And if you have just the one bag, I find like my travel's a lot easier. Anything I need, I can actually buy over there if I don't have it on me. A lot of times there's really super cheap places to buy stuff once you get there. So if you're in like Ireland, you got a place called Penny's, which is not anything to do with JCPenney's, but Penny's is a really cheap place. So if you only brought like 3 shirts and you want to pick up an extra shirt along the way, or maybe you packed like maybe 2 shirts, you packed light because you figured you were going to buy something that's like, you didn't pack a jacket and you want to buy like an Irish wool jacket or Irish wool sweater, make room for stuff like that. I always did stuff like that. Just the one bag, and you don't have to check a bag if you're using budget airlines like Ryanair or EasyJet. You don't have to worry about checking the bag and paying extra money. You don't have to go to luggage claim. A lot of times you can just put it in the stowaway and have your one little day bag with you. For me, that's what worked out the best. And my first trip I ever did was 3 months. It was 90 days, and honestly, the day that one bag worked out perfectly for me. A lot of times I would look for hostels that actually had like linen or cleaning as one of their amenities, and I would just get my laundry done that way. It worked out for me. Like one bag.
See,
I don't really need a lot. I don't need a hair blow. I don't need a dryer.
On that note, I think it would be important to note the differences of my travel intentions versus yours.
You were staying there for long stints.
I didn't go to pretty much any of the countries I went to live, never to travel. Traveling was like a bonus, a random thing that was a perk because I stayed there.
Right, so yours isn't really like traveling. Yours is you lived in another country, so of course you're going to need to have a lot more. But if you went to, let's say, you were going just to Italy and just for 2 months, you would not bring all that stuff with you, correct?
2 months I probably would.
You don't need all that clothes.
Maybe 4 weeks. I could see, but I
2 nice dress shirts, 4 regular shirts,
maybe
5 socks, 4 pairs of underwear.
Could do it. Maybe now I'd be a little bit better about it, but I don't ever want to have to worry about. My first trip that I ever made, it was to Yellowstone, 19, and that was my craziest one. That was like I brought this giant full-size marble chessboard. I brought a little LCD TV at that time, a little 24-inch, like crazy stuff.
You lived out there though.
But I lived out there, yeah.
That's different.
I was planning on staying there for 2 or 3 months, and I read online like, oh, you need stuff to do because yes, you can travel the park, but you eventually will kind of settle in and spend most of your time at the dorm. So I took that in mind, and then I've made adjustments. You know, like sometimes I go up. 2-3 weeks ago, I flew up to New York to visit River,
Yeah.
my wife, and I took just a little backpack, and but it was.
Side note: how often does she come down to visit?
We try and see each other once a month.
That's nice.
It seems like probably every 2 or 3 months, maybe a couple more than that. She usually comes down here, but maybe 2 or 3 times a year I'll fly up to see her.
Nice.
Yeah. She'll be in.
But you said you were bringing lots of stuff in Yellowstone and TVs, and because you wanted to stay
crazy
busy.
stuff. I mean, yeah, I wanted to be entertained. I never wanted to feel like, damn, I wish I brought this thing. I'd always prefer to feel like, damn, I brought too much. Instead
When was this?
That was when I was 19, but
So that's been a long.
Yeah, the last example that was probably a little too crazy.
So 2000 and.
That was 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still a kid. So the last one, my last big trip to Taiwan, I guess 2.5 or 3 years ago at this point, I went pretty crazy that trip too. I brought 2 giant suitcases.
You were there for a while, though.
Yeah, I was planning on living there. You know, like a year minimum at a time. Like,
Yeah, and you taught English out there?
English. I got this pretty sweet scholarship, all sorts of stuff. That time I filled up 2, and I'm talking like full size, the giant suitcases worth of board games. I literally brought like 30 or 40 board games.
Why don't you just buy a suitcase over there and bring back
because that
board
doesn't
games?
make sense to me. I hate buying things I already have. I hate buying whatever it is. I would rather pack a tent with me, put it in my suitcase, and fly.
Not so much that, but let's say you only brought 3 T-shirts with you, and when you got over there, you bought T-shirts, and those T-shirts would be significant to that area.
Before we get too advanced into the clothing aspect of it, I need to make a note. I do not buy clothes. I hate clothes shopping.
Yeah.
I buy clothes maybe once every 5 years.
Yeah.
So the clothes were never an issue.
So how old is this shirt?
4 years maybe. Yeah. And this is just some. When I have to buy clothes, I will. Yeah. But there's been many years where I would just like. There was one time where one of my friends in Taiwan, and yes, I say that very clearly, she gave me just like loads of her clothes because she was really big into buying new stuff. Whatever new fancy thing there was.
So you're dragging it for a while?
Without. I mean, obviously she had a very specific taste, and she dressed in dude's clothes, if you're catching my drift here, Brandon, Mr. Brandon. Yeah. Okay.
I get it, man.
And so I wore her clothes for years because she wore fancy like polos.
You still have some of those,
yeah? At this point, I mean, we're talking, I wore those out to the extent of their life cycle.
Fair enough.
I've gotten a lot more control under it over recent years, but yeah, I used to I'm talking like slashes and holes, and it's like, hey, that's cool. I like that style. But it's just because I wore it that long, not like it was pre-built like that or pre-fabricated, whatever you want to say. Shut up, Brandon. R.I.P. Jake. Point is, clothes have never been an issue. I'd always pack like 10% of my bag would be clothes, 90% would be stuff to make sure I bring what I want to bring.
You wanted to stay entertained.
Yes, I wanted to make sure that in a social event I'd have enough of a weight, like icebreakers. I'd bring multiple copies of a game called Mafia and Werewolf. I bring those, like, hey, I know if I make some classmates, they'll like playing this game with me. And then I brought some more advanced, like, 10-pound games.
So this is stuff that, like, communal
for the most,
entertainment.
Yeah, for the most
It wasn't just
part.
You sitting there and doing something, right?
There was a point where I was traveling with 4 or 5 ping pong paddles. Like, there's just been crazy parts of my traveling life where I'd bring stuff planning on, like, this will be useful one day. And it always was eventually, so I never regretted it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I actually just brought, it was like called a Moto E. It was
a cell phone?
It was a cell phone, but what was nice about it, because at the time there wasn't a lot of phones that you actually could put, so it was a global phone. So if I wanted to get a SIM in Ireland or something, I could. But it had a SIM card slot that I think would read up. Even though there wasn't terabyte SIM card slots, you could have that much in there. So I had like 500 and something gigs of memory on there, and I had like the Mighty Boosh,
a bunch of nice.
had tons and tons of shows. I had Game of Thrones. I was getting caught up on my Game of Thrones. Have a roommate LeBlanc who he's he's really big into downloading tons and tons of stuff. So I'd get them from him and just load them onto this memory card and completely saturate this memory card. I had my actual phone that I would use for photography. If I saw something pretty, I'd take a picture of it, social media, whatever. But this is what I use for just my entertainment.
Cool. Yeah.
So if I'm on like a 7-hour train, or for example, when I did the Trolltunga in Norway, it's a hike. It's a crazy beautiful hike, but it took 10 hours. 5 hours up, 5 hours down the mountain, and my feet were just destroyed. Like me walking through Bergen, Norway, the next day or even the day after that just wasn't going to happen. And that's a testament to the Norwegian, because there's people that were running up that bitch, old people who are running up it, and they do that on the daily. Anyways, so after that, I'm nursing my wounds, and I'm just going through, Blackadder and like the Mighty Boosh and Game of Thrones. I'm just watching these in the hostel, and when I get bored, I'll go downstairs and buy a beer and drink with the other people. But I had that kind of to tide me over, like seasons and seasons full of stuff.
Nice.
And I had thousands of songs, Ella Fitzgerald to the Black Keys, just crazy music. And I always just found that was my way of entertainment. And then a lot of hostels are really cool about having like a donation area. So if I get, let's say I'm in an area like Norway and it's super, super cold, and then I'm going to Ireland next, or let's say I'm going to Italy next and it's going to be warm. People will donate clothes, they'll donate books,
cool.
They'll donate all that kind of stuff. And if you're there, you can just pick it up, or shampoo, or there's all kinds of stuff like that you can just get. So I would pick up books and stuff and read along the way. Sometimes it'd be in a language I wouldn't understand. I would catch a couple words here and there. I'd have to translate. Google Translate, hold it over there, and just get sentences at a time. Anything to pass the time. But yeah, having that many suitcases would drive me crazy. And I talked to Europeans, and I don't know how it is in Asia, but I was like, how do you feel about like what drives you crazy about tourists? And they're like, oh, I hate those little bags with the wheels on them, because
I'm sure they said that, Brandon.
they did.
Just hold up your glass and cheers to Jake.
Solange.
Yeah, Solange Jake.
Rip Jake.
Sorry.
R.I.P.
I'm really,
But no, so
I'm really thinking about what picture to use for Jake.
in like places like Italy, where I was at, like in Naples, like the streets are so old. Like the streets are older than Jesus. Like they're old streets. So people would be with their luggage, and you just hear clack, 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 the whole way down. And they would just hear it all going up into the hostel. Everybody coming in with
That's
those.
such a peaceful sound for me. I go to sleep with that sound.
Clack, 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 clack.
I'd rather listen to that than like Alpha.
Than our actual show right now.
Cheers, sir. Did you drink it?
No, this is the second
You're
time
not
we
supposed to
cheered.
put your glass down. It's embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself.
We haven't talked about this beer at all. We just grabbed it up.
This is the groove.
This is the vibin'.
But what's a groovable beer? What's it called? How are
Holy
they?
shit, we just poured it, and we didn't even talk about it or show it off.
Because you're sitting there making up lies about tourists or people talking.
That was not a lie. Anybody
I'm
who
sure
knows
people
me,
whine about the sound that suitcase wheels make.
anybody who
across
knows me knows that I'm a super honest guy. This is Funky Buddha. It's crisp,
Funky Buddha.
refreshing, and groovy. Funky Buddha is the name of the brewery. Vibin' Groovable Lager is what the beer is actually.
That's my favorite. This groovable lager.
And Funky Buddha is out of Oakland Park, Florida. It's got this cool, like, almost famous, if you guys have seen the movie, girl with sunglasses, nice, almost, the headphones look new, but the vibe is old school.
I like Almost Famous.
You saw it?
Yeah. Who was the chick who was in that?
I do not know.
I
I don't
know
rightly
exactly,
recollect, sir.
I know exactly who it is. I just can't think.
But if you guys want to look at that, catch a gander at that, Funky Buddha, I probably should try it out, yeah?
I'm just think. I'm gonna try and make it to one of these trivia nights soon. I think I've been persuaded by Mr. Drew.
Yeah? Grayson
if,
got you coming?
if
Looking like a
Simon
real
just-
police officer?
If Simon just carries the team the whole time, I think I'm quite okay with that.
He always does. They all drink for free because he comes in. He gets $25 gift cards every week.
Every week, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, except for when they have like special events. Like sometimes Pretoria will rent that out on a Thursday.
So Simon it's like it may be his kind of like ritual or something. He will come most weeks that he goes, maybe he stopped recently, but for a while, he would come before, chat, talk, whatever, maybe get some magic stuff, go, and then come back and tell me how drunk he is and how he won the trivia night and what questions were at trivia night. So there was one time that Jake and we were actually playing chess.
Did you share this on your profile, by the way?
Yeah. I allowed it to be whatever. Like I allowed the tag to go through. Way to interrupt me, Brandon.
My bad. I'm a real piece of shit.
That was rude.
Sorry. Vibing, Funky Buddha.
Dang, that was rude. That was so rude.
He'll come in after he drinks.
Okay, so
after he drinks at Pretoria.
When Jake was still around.
R.I.P. Jake.
R.I.P. Jake. We were playing chess. Simon comes in and he's like, "Dude, the question I won tonight was the chess question." And yeah, that's the end of my story. But I kind of lost the thunder there because of you.
I interrupted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate getting interrupted, so I hate that.
Huh?
I hate that I did that to you.
Yeah, me too.
That happened to me yesterday. I just walked out. Like, if anybody who's watching that was there, I'm sorry. That's just what that was. But I kept trying to sell this conversation. I kept trying to talk about something, and they would.
Trying to sell a conversation.
I was trying to tell I was trying to tell somebody a story, and I was having a conversation, and there was two others, and every time I would say something, they both would stop and start talking to each other about something, and after it happened about 3 times, I just did this. Like, if you guys can see my face, I went, and just got my shit and walked out.
You were at a buddy's house or?
No, I was at Mello after work, and I was just talking about.
Were you talking to customers or talking to
two other employees that were off as well? And they were both looking at me, and I was having a conversation with both of them about another employee there. Not anything bad. I was telling them a story. I was telling them a story that happened with this employee, and the person turned and talked to the other guy and just completely like interrupted me, and they did that like 3 times, and it drives me crazy.
I'll be honest with me, Brandon.
And I just got up and walked out.
Why did they do that to you?
I don't know.
But you do.
I don't know. I'm not trying to call her out, but she's really bad about that.
Just one of those personalities.
I walk away from her.
I actually know people like that.
I walk away from her pretty often because she does that.
That sucks.
Yeah, because I do like her. She's super nice, but it's just a bad habit.
What were you trying to tell her? Lay it on me.
I don't remember.
What was so interesting that you felt like
I honestly don't remember.
It was going to amuse 2 people.
It was about an employee that used to work there, and I think I was talking about. It wasn't significant to the story, but they didn't know who.
Really wanted to add to it.
Well, no, they didn't know who it was, so I was adding stuff to say who it was, and I was like, yeah, she's like pansexual, and she's liquid fluid, whatever. She just likes what she likes. She doesn't care if you're man, girl, gay, bi, whatever. If she likes you, she likes you.
Okay.
That's what. And I was trying to. I didn't remember the girl's name because I was just brain farting on it. And I was going on with the conversation, and she turns to him and starts talking to him about something, and it happened like 2 or 3 times, and I was just like, and just got up and walked out, and they're like, "You okay, man?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm all right. I just want to get home." I think I didn't make a lot that night. The heaters weren't up on the patio. They changed over the system, so there was no heaters. Nobody wanted to be outside. I was letting off some steam after work.
So you were trying to interrupt 2 people's conversation with about a person they don't know and who you couldn't even remember the name of.
No.
Like you're not proving your case was worth interrupting them in the first place, Brandon.
No.
I'm listening to you right now. Like I'm giving you my full attention.
So they were both talking to me, right?
I'm not saying I'm taking their side, but
they were both talking to me, right? And I was telling them about one of the employees, and I didn't remember her name, so I tried to describe her because I was brain farting on it at the time.
That's so interesting, yes.
It was relevant to the conversation we had.
I'm sure.
And I was trying to remember the girl's name, so I described her to continue on with the conversation, and they both stopped what they were doing and started having a conversation with each other, related, but not to me. They were like, "Yeah, remember that time, something, and I was."
But do you think it was possibly because you did not go fully prepared into the conversation? Like,
I don't know. If you're having a conversation with somebody, you just sit there and listen to them.
I feel like I wish I could have. This is a situation where I wish I could somehow see it, so I could really know who was the more foolish person here. Like these two people talking about something that you felt you had to comment on, and you go into a conversation and like, hey guys, do you know that, what's her name? It's that person who she's like gender fluid and she'll like you, but they were already like an intense conversation. But
so we were talking about one of the employees there. I remember exactly what it was now. We were talking about one of the employees there. Here it
now is. He remembers 24 hours later when it will never be relevant again. Yes.
So they were talking about an employee that used to work at Mello who they said doesn't really have great customer service. And that how they don't understand how they make money at the job that they do work at now. They're no longer at Mello, but they work at a new job, and they brag about how much money they make. And they're like, I don't see how they make so much money. And they're talking to me, and they're like, I don't see how they make so much money because they really have a sour personality, and their customer service isn't great. And I was like, yeah. One of the girls who used to work here, she waited on, like, she was their customer one time, and they gave them bad service, and she didn't.
That's what you're doing to me, Brandon. I'm not taking their side or your side, okay, sir?
So they were saying that the girl was a bad server, and I was saying that there was another employee there that they had waited on and given them bad service, so the girl had tipped them badly, and she was bitching about it. And like, yeah, this girl tipped me super bad, and she's a server here, and I asked the girl about it. I was like, hey, they said you tipped really bad. You know, what was up? You get like 10%, and you're a server, you know? She's like, well, honestly, she was kind of a shitty server. She didn't take care of us. Our drinks were empty, and she kind of forgot about us. So why would we tip her well? You know, I'm not tipping her extra good because I work with her. I tip her according to her service, and she gave me shit service. And I was saying all of this, but the person I was talking to felt it was appropriate to just completely like, oh yeah, and something, and completely...
I'll be honest.
So I got a little offended, and I got up.
With all of the she said, he said, she did, he did, you just said, you lost me. But on a mellow mushroom note,
if you knew them, you would be.
I would like to personally thank, and if you are close enough with the owner, I don't know who is and who isn't. Last weekend, on our Extra Life event, we had 6 or 7 food donors, but Mellow Mushroom was one of them.
I heard about that.
Yep, and I talked to a waiter when I was there a couple days ago and told them, like, hey, I just want to personally thank them. But I really appreciate that Mello acknowledged our event and gave us so many pizzas that we sold 40 or 50 $10. We had these little green wristbands, and that got you food for the day, whoever was our donor, and they were $10 each. So we raised $700 or $800 last Saturday. And Mello was one of the main, like, we had so many people who donated into it, but Mello was like, hot damn.
I wonder who contacted, or did you contact them, or they contacted you?
I actually don't know. I don't know if it was our Phoebe contact or that guy. You left a comment on one of the pictures. You're like, hey, this guy comes into Mello all the time. A guy named Dave. You said, I didn't know this guy streams. I feel like you got a really crap memory, Brandon. You almost never look like you know what I'm talking about, sober or drunk. It's
only
crazy.
Dave I'm thinking of is either Dave Brown or Erdman, who's been on the show before.
If I went onto my Facebook and I was like, literally here, this is your comment you wrote 1 week ago, and you said, I didn't know this guy streamed. It was either him or this girl named Becca who works for Phoebe. And one of them reached out, and they were part of the big reasons like we got so many donors. Yeah. But either way, the owner of Mello,
Lisa,
from what I heard, Lisa, Lisa, she's the reason we actually got it donated, like kind of finalized, like approved.
She's really good about stuff like that. Yeah. That's one of the things.
Mrs. Lisa, this is a personal shout out to you and Mellow Mushroom here in Albany, Georgia. We really appreciate what you did for us last Saturday. It was a lot of help, and a lot of people really enjoyed. Oh, this one. A lot of people really enjoyed themselves last week at our shop, and they were full the whole time too. And your pizza was one of the big main entrees too. So, thank you, Miss Lisa, and thank you whoever reached out to you who got your food approved for coming out to the Cool Place. We really appreciate it. We hope to do it next year too.
Yeah, man.
Again, in total, our team, like the Cool Place alone, raised $700 or $800, but our team, we had 10 team members. In total, we raised about $2,000.
Damn.
Which is sweet.
Was that involved with the chip thing as well?
Yeah. So I had this thing that said if we raise $500 at the Cool Place, specifically at the Cool Place, I will take a chip and drip 5 drops of the 3rd hottest hot sauce in the world and eat that chip. So once I started posting about that a little bit more, people were like, oh yeah, I need to see that. And then more and more.
Did you live stream it?
I did, yeah. Yeah, we had.
Must have been at work when it happened.
Yeah, we had. We had 400 or 500 views on the video. It was a pretty solid turnout. Everybody was like,
"Where's I at? What day was that on?"
Saturday.
Oh yeah, I was at work.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
All day.
Saturday is a big day for you, but yeah, we had a good turnout. We've had busier events in like a 1 or 2 hour session, but for the full on, like I'm talking 1 p.m. to probably 9 p.m., we had 40 to 60 people constantly there, and that was
It sounds
amazing.
like you need a bigger place, man.
Which gets into the thing we started the show off with. Friendly reminder, you asked me if we have any plans in the future,
Yeah.
just in case you forgot.
No, I
because
do remember.
Your memory is just not super awesome. I'm learning that more and more the more
It's
we hang
a
out.
very focused memory.
Is
If somebody
it,
comes,
though?
yes, if a
How focused is
if
it?
you
What
came
is
into
your
Mellow
focus?
once and I remembered you, I would remember what you drank and what you ate, and I would try to give you that again.
I personally, you want to hear my personal opinion? I don't think you work at Mellow Mushroom. I've been there 3 or 4 times, and you've never been there. Hey, do you know Brendan? Yeah.
Friday,
And
Saturday,
that's it.
Sunday.
That's crazy.
Just
nobody,
3 days.
Nobody works Friday, Saturday, Sunday only.
Just me.
That's
I'm
that's
big boss
foolish.
like that.
You do not work at Mellow Mushroom.
I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Mellow, and I work Thursday night at Pretoria. So I take off Mondays, so I'm here with you guys, and Tuesdays and Wednesdays I try to set up for the next week. And
Next
people-
week of what? Just
This.
living of this?
Yeah, people
nice.
usually flake out on me.
So am I? Be honest with.
You're good about it, man. You're actually consistent.
But you're on the spot right now. Be real with me. Am I typically the last person? Like once the first 3 or 4 bell out, you're like, shit. I gotta get back to Halim now. See if Halim will do it. Am I almost always the last?
No.
No?
No. The reason why is so. I'm
love
not.
putting people on the spot.
I'm not
That's
sure if
me.
you actually like. Sometimes I think you do enjoy it, and sometimes I just don't want to be a burden on people. And I feel like if I keep asking them, I'm a burden on them.
Okay, and I'll put myself back on the spot. Anytime that I can do it, I will do it. I
Yeah.
love this. I
do
love,
as well.
Yeah, I love the beer. I love the chatting. I love finding out that you're a pathological liar and you have
Not at
no
all.
memory.
Not at all. I have a very. I feel like I have a very honed memory. It just requires some. Like I can remember what customers like strange things that customers.
You're a liar. It's just crazy.
So for example,
The first step is admitting you're a liar.
I had a police
Right.
officer come in recently, and
Here we
he
go.
works with a drug unit,
Mhm.
and he talks about how he would love to actually drink weed or smoke weed, but he can't. I'll
Drink
get to this.
weed.
I'll get to it.
He'd love to drink weed
I'll get
because
to
that's
it.
a thing.
I'll get to it. Liquid gold. He talks about how he would love to smoke weed, but he can't in his line of work. And I'm like, dude, why don't you try out this G13, this weed terpene infused beer? You like weed, you like beer, try it out, man. He got infatuated with it. Like he got obsessed with it, so much so that he said he probably drinks 5 to 6 bottles a day. Next time I
That
saw
sounds
him,
dangerous.
he came back. He had the G13 hat on, right? His daughter had started buying him G13 stuff, and I remembered him, and I was like, another G13, and he was like, dude, how do you remember that? Like you waited on me like a month ago, and I was like, dude, I just remember like some of the customers I get on the patio. They're unique characters, you know. They can either the patio is totally to the elements. So if it's hot outside, it's going to be hot on the patio. If it's cold outside, it's going to be cold on the patio.
I just
So
want to clarify, you're bragging right now about how good your memory is, right? By a very specific, very one-of-a-kind, G13 related beer,
I was using that as an
drinking,
example.
pot-craving police officer.
Yes, I use that as an example.
You have
That
severe
happens
issues,
often.
Brandon.
That happens often. So customers come in often, and I remember what they drink, and I remember what they ate, and they're like, "Damn, that's a good memory. That was like 6 months ago." And I was like, "Yeah, well,
There was this one time on the police officer, specifically the police officer related note. I had there were like 3 or 4 younger. So imagine like 3 or 4 I'm assuming 22, 23-year-old, literally just finished police academy. They all got hired conveniently at the same station. Guys, they come
Right.
in, 3 or 4 of them. 2 of them are just like, you know,
Yeah.
game store. I don't want to be here. They left pretty quick, but the other 2, They stuck around. They played some of our like D&D. They kind of just hung out and really had a good time. But I asked one of them like, "Hey, do you ever just like sit in your car and like, yeah, I'm a motherfucking cop.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
I'll bust your ass."
I mean, essentially, that's what I was asking them, because I've never had a cop that I knew I was older than come into the store, and also, because again, there's that sense of like, well, I'm the boss of this place, so I can get a little bit closer, like a little more personal. So I did that with one of them, and you could kind of tell he was like holding back a smile. He was like, yeah, there's sometimes where that happens, man, and it's just like, whoa, something like that. So
I'm actually
that's
friends
fun.
with a lot of police officers.
Are you?
Yeah, well, you go to high school with them, or you know them through passing, whether it's a girlfriend's little sister's brothers or friends of brothers. I know two guys right off the rip that they were best friends, and they were, I'm not going to call them fuck ups, but they definitely were like goofballs. They're both like respectable police officers now. Another friend of mine, he became a police officer. He was a very small guy growing up, right? He worked in the mall. He worked right next door to where you're at now. He worked in the pet store. Very small guy, Asian, and we called him Short Round. I called him Short Round because he looked like Short Round from Indiana Jones. Dr. Jones, you know, that's Short Round.
Terrible human.
Very small Asian guy, but he was my
You were the
dude, man.
worst.
Dude, I love that guy. He's awesome. He went off to New York for a while, trained with some people, got fucking jacked. He's super swole now, and he's a police officer, and it's just wild to see.
He's local now?
Yeah. So if you ever see a very small but super jacked Asian guy, that's him in Albany as a cop.
You know, on that note, I don't think he was working for Albany, but if he works for Lee County, that might have been one of the guys who helped arrest outside of. He was a pretty big guy.
He is swole.
I don't know how many Asian police.
It has to be him. I'm not gonna call him out.
Lee County though, not Albany.
I think he is Lee County.
Yeah.
He might be. Yeah. So I'm not gonna call this guy out, but he was a bit of a rapscallion when we were kids. He used to get into all kinds of troubles, and he used to walk around with like $4,000 or $5,000 rolled up in his pocket, and I'm like around the mall, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna see
how?
on.
Not only why, but how?
You just do that. Like I'm like, dude, I'm gonna see on the news, small Asian guy gets robbed of thousands in Albany.
Holy crap!
Never happened.
I'm
He ended up becoming a police officer.
Same guy. Yeah. It was him and then some other.
I'm not gonna call him out, but he's my boy.
You friends on Facebook?
Oh yeah, friends on Facebook, friends all over.
I'm
I've known him since I was 17, and I'm 35 now. I'm about to turn 36.
That's a solid friendship, yeah. That's cool.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah. What did you think of this third or the sixth and final beer?
Oh, I'm not done with it yet.
Yeah. Because you're filling all of our heads full of lies.
I'm not a liar.
But you are.
I mean, everybody lies to some extent, but
I know, but you're.
I feel like I'm a very honest guy.
Extent.
No, man.
What did you think?
I enjoyed that. It's a golden ale, so it's super easy to drink.
Yeah.
You're gonna be all alone for like a minute. Are you okay with that?
That's fine. I'm gonna. Which camera is it?
So the one on the right is what's active.
So
the
if
one
I
on
just
the left.
stare into it, is that fine?
Do it, man. Actually, if you want to talk about events coming up, if you want to hype people up, if you want to use this as a chance to kind of market yourself, go for it.
What's up, everybody? Brandon
So
is gone.
So you see the right camera is where you're at now.
The one on the laptop, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's time for a 2-minute rant about how Brandon is probably one of the worst people I've ever met in my life.
How dare you?
I'm just kidding, but we're having a pretty good time here tonight. It's I never really know what to expect with each of these live streaming events. It's kind of like he messages me either the day of, hours before, or the day before. Best case scenario, which is what happened this time. Like last night, I get a text like, "Hey, do you want to be on it?" I was thinking, absolutely, because I really do like being on the show. It's a lot of fun. So I was happy to be here. Never really know what to expect, what we're really going to talk about, because like he's mentioned probably in every stream that he's had, he likes to interview skilled people or talented people at something, and he kind of brackets my business into just a general skill, I guess, being a business owner or maybe a young entrepreneur. I'm not sure what exactly category it could fall under, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoy I enjoy kind of hanging out here. Trying new beers obviously is a big appealing part of it for me. I'm really big into tasty, new, different kind of beers. So just kind of here waiting on him to get back. Not even sure if anybody's watching. I see over there on my cell phone we got 2 Facebook viewers. From what he tells me, we're streaming on 3 or 4 different platforms right now, but he mentioned that maybe I could talk about the cool place, but anybody who's watching this who is a local probably knows most of everything that's new with the cool place. I do have some really, really serious, really, really big plans for what I'm planning on doing over the next year, 2 and 3 year marks. All right. Oh crap, he's back. So let me get right back to what's up, Brandon? We don't have any more beers, bro. I'm just kidding.
You can talk about your thing some more, like any.
No, I was just telling them that I do have a bunch of big plans that I'm going to be announcing, but as they happen, not like premature.
That's kind of why I don't announce people. Balboy.
Oh, hi, Balbe.
Balbe. What's that?
I'm not sure what that
Balbe.
means. No,
Hi, Balbe.
I'm just kidding. What's the name?
Balbe.
Slayton.
Is it? No, it isn't.
That's
Slayton.
River. She's probably been one of our main viewers for the last 2 hours.
That's one of the reasons why I don't promote beforehand, like who's coming on, because since people don't actually get paid to do this, and it's just, I'd like to say it's a passion, but there's a lot of skilled people around, and there's lots of cool people around that I kind of want to have on and talk
Did
about
you
what
say
they do.
cold or cool?
Cool people. I am cold too. There's a
swear you
fan
said
down here.
cold. I think
There's a fan down here that's like lighting me up.
You're losing your English processing part.
That'll probably take some of the murmur off the microphone as well. But
The
there's
murmur?
lots of the murmur. There's lots of cool people around that I kind of want to talk to, and nobody knew about Billy Shores. A lot of people knew who Trenton Ty was, the blacksmith, but they didn't know that he lived locally. Like Ranger Ben or like Big Jim, bow builder. There's lots of these skilled people around that nobody really knows about. So I like to bring them on, but some people, I mean, these are professionals, and these people, they're not actually getting paid to do this. I'm giving them some beer, and I'm, carrying on a conversation, but a lot of times if they're busy, there's no really real incentive for them to come on. So it's difficult for me. I've sometimes talked about it on the show and be like, hey guys, next week we're getting Trent and Ty on here, and something happens, and it doesn't happen for another month, and I've got to I don't know.
You learned from that mistake, like announcing who's coming.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I can actually.
So I do it from week to week, and I've got some cool stuff coming up in the future. Not just people coming on, but maybe some cool changes to the show. I'm actually thinking about getting a green screen and having like small skits. I'm being honest. Like I'll have a separate cam, maybe one that stretches, and there'll be a whole area that we green screened, and there's something behind us.
Okay.
I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be funny. There's like.
See, but just to comment back on what you were just saying about people flaking out, for me and for my personal love and passion of beer, it's died. I will be honest, it's died down over the last couple of years. There was a 1 or 2 year stint where I would exclusively buy 30 beers at a time, but different ones, and I'd just load up my fridge, and for a month I'd drink 1 beer a night.
Yeah.
And just rate them and all that stuff. So this show kind of goes back to that. When I get an invite from you, I'm thinking like, damn it, I need to bring something. Like that's why I offered barbecue tonight. I was like, he brought, probably realistically, let's say $12 to $16 worth of beer. And I'm thinking like
$20. Like that's when I buy 6 beers.
See, but exactly. So for me to hear that other quote unquote talented people flake out, and it like maybe you don't know. I don't know. For me, it's chatting, it's beer, it's just a kind of in general good time. I do like being on the show. It's fun.
And I like to keep up with kind of what you're doing. I know you're like a man who makes waves. I like that you're not just letting that place just linger and letting it get stagnant. You know, you have lots of events coming up. You got a lot of things in the works, a lot of things in your mind that you want to make manifest, and
Black
all
Friday,
in due time.
On that note, yeah, Black Friday is coming up. That's going to be our next like big.
What's going on Black Friday?
Just obvious, like just the
Sales.
same crazy sales that go on everywhere. I'm going to do like a really absurd one.
So obviously, excuse me. So Michael will have something with Games the Graves as
yeah,
well.
He already put like these giant signs on the window that say like one is so big it's like just the whole window just says black, and then the next one says Friday, then the next one says sales. Like he's going all out with it. He has a lot of big plans. And
Does he have enough merchandise for that?
From his, I don't want to get into an exact number of how much merchandise he has in there, but it's a lot. And a monetary value, he has a lot of inventory. So,
dude, I'd love for you guys to get a huge building and
yeah,
we are not under so many rules, not knocking them all, but there's all these rules and regulations.
I will always appreciate and acknowledge that I started off there, but I don't think my specialty is going to be like mall locations.
No, it's a good location right
like
now.
The cool place kind of develops into something bigger. It's going to be unlikely going to be a mall franchise.
You want a good location for sure, but honestly, the mall gets some pretty decent foot traffic.
It's
like
true.
People come in and they might go
but
to
on
GNC
that note, you
or
know where we are.
It's on the ass end.
I actually cannot think of one worse location to be at in this mall specifically, but the reason we got kind of like locked into that tucked away little corner is because, you have any idea?
They gave you a great deal for it being back in the boons.
No, the back door. The back door allows me to close after 9 p.m. Any other location in the mall, they said I have to close with the mall because I don't have a back.
You don't have backdoor access. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have my own bathroom. Also, like this place comes with a back door, a bathroom, like easy access in and out.
So, do you think that you would want to close up this mall one, or do you think that you would maybe want to have two locations?
In Albany, never. I'm never going to, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to compete with myself. I will always only have my origin store somewhere in Albany.
Right.
But.
And last time you were on here, we talked about one of the buildings, but you said that the price that they'd give you was ridiculous. The one right in between Buffalo and Mellow.
That's that's where I really want to do something.
Yeah, me and a friend actually talked about Zach McBray that comes on. He was like, dude, that'd be a perfect place for like a small bar. Just right in between, so when Mellow closes or Buffalo closes, it's in between, and it's right next to a large like hotel. So if somebody they drink too much, they can just walk right over there to the hotel. It's like a great location, but the price on it is just insane.
Is that the reason you would ever do something like that?
Me?
Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever actually wanted to do that, or is this just like talk?
No, I would like to. I think a bar would be nice. It's just, I don't know. I've seen a lot of bars go down in town, and it's just usually mismanagement, or it's the owners end up getting into drugs, or they end up, that kind of party life really has an effect on the owner if they're not really strict.
You think you could run the bar side or restaurant side of a successful business?
With some training.
Yeah. Because I've told you before, and I mean it, like, if I go into my next big step, and if I have to,
if I'm in town,
and if you are, for some horrible reason, still around, then yes, you will be my go-to guy, or at least somebody you recommend.
Yeah.
Probably not somebody you recommend. It's either you or I find my own person. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have a lot of recommendations as well. People that I know that actually have good work ethic, that they'll be there and they're not going to call out every other day, and you're going to have to find somebody to replace them. And
yeah, right now, in 9 months, we've had eight employees, I think. Yeah, 8, and but of those 8, 3 of them are currently employed, so 5 that we've kind of cycled through. But yeah, it's a tough. I mean, it's a tough game.
It's hard to find good people.
I essentially I'm turning friends / customers into employees. and that's where it gets really, really difficult to manage.
Yeah, because you
a
have to
place.
kind of like draw a line between, hey, yes, I am your friend, but I am your boss as well, and I need you to do this.
Yeah, it gets a little wild. But on that note, and I mean that, and I've double checked it several times. 7 out of the 8 that have been employed at the cool place are still regulars. Like they still come in, and I don't end on hard, crazy, wild terms. I'm very reasonable. If I have a reason, like, hey, this is why it's not working out, I explain it as clearly as I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it's just tough, and sometimes
Diplomacy.
it just doesn't work out. Yeah.
Where do you think would be a good location next?
Can't disclose that information.
Well, I know, but just like, do you want it to be close to where the mall's at, where all that foot traffic from all those restaurants and all those standalone shops?
There are 3 places I'm looking at, and 2 of them are pretty close.
Like
actually,
part
to
of a
where I am.
plaza?
Perhaps.
I feel like a standalone building, like kind of how that Verizon building is, maybe, or whatever it was.
Sprint, I think, or
It
AT&T.
is too expensive because it's a standalone building, but it may be as part of a,
$12,000 a month. It's just
yeah.
I don't see that happening for
As a
for
bar, it
most.
would.
But
As a
would-
bar, you
but
could.
Would it? But would it really, like, not a non-chain? Because think about it, Buffalo chain,
Well,
mushroom chain. Do you know how many mellow mushrooms there are in America?
There's a shit ton.
Yeah, a lot,
Yeah.
hundreds.
But so you really wouldn't be competing with them. So you would open up only late hours. So
Mhm.
you would maybe open up at like 8, 9, 10, whatever. So up until like 3 o'clock in the morning. So you're really only open those certain hours.
Yeah.
But within those small hours, so all the people who are drinking at Buffalo, all the people who are that get kicked out because they close or whatever, they want to have more of a party scene in Buffalo.
I'm like.
Or at Mello, they want some place to go instead of driving all the way out to Harvest or driving all the way to 809 or Sandtrap or whatever it is that tickles your pickle.
Any of these places.
They literally can just go right across the street. And if they get too drunk, they can. I mean, you could probably work out some kind of crazy deal if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Me and the friend were talking about some kind of speakeasy kind of place.
Yeah.
We're thinking of like premier customers, like guys that would get actual discounts if they had, certain kind of. They had an account with us that they paid a little extra or something like that a month. They became a premier customer, part of the elite. They would get like discounts.
Again, I'd love to. Once I get mine more, because it's already in my brain. It's already confirmed. Well, the only thing I don't have is when. And when
It's
I
happening.
get close, it will happen. And when it gets closer to that, I'll be happy to give you like my full
Oh yeah,
game
yeah.
plan,
You don't want to count your chickens before they're hatched.
Yeah,
I get it,
yeah.
man.
I
A plaza would be
I remember,
nice.
I remember I had a lot of pressure opening up in the first place, but I did this weird strategy where I was I was telling literally everybody. So I moved home on like the 10th. I found where I was going to locate and put the building in like the 13th of January. Again,
Yeah.
2-3 weeks.
And he did all this,
before opening.
guys, within such a short period
3
of time.
weeks. It was 3 weeks, and one of my strategies to ensure it happened was I told everybody. I was like, "This is going to happen."
Right. Well, it sets it in
February
stone,
1st.
so you can't really slack. You have to kind of do
I mean,
it.
really, yeah. Like it gives you this immense amount of pressure where it's like, I said I'm going to do it, and I will do it.
You're a
no
person of
matter-
integrity, so you're going to do it.
So I don't want to do that. But on that note, I don't want to do that for my next big step. I
Right.
want to like, hey, in 2 months, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Not 3 weeks from now. I'm going to throw together a half kind of processed idea.
I was thinking maybe
which
the
turned out well.
plaza right next to kind of where Moe's used to be.
Mm.
There's like a mattress place there. It's right across from Zaxby's. It's within the
Mattress
Target.
firm.
Yeah, within the Target Plaza. There's like a little end nook there. I don't know if it'll be big enough.
Mm.
It might not be.
It's not. It was. I called them. That was one of my. I actually looked and called them before I opened up where I did.
I'm just thinking of places that that might be ideal. You don't want to be in a plaza where there's nothing else in that plaza. So kind of like how Ulta is, where the Gander Mountain used to be. Like there's no Gander Mountain there. So that worked out well because as sexist as it sounds, the guys could go off to Gander Mountain, and the women could go off to Alta, or the guy could go off to Gander Mountain, and his boyfriend could go off to Alta. Whatever, tickles your pickle.
Here we go again.
Tickle pickle. That's twice I used it.
Goodness gracious.
So whatever, but now that Gander Mountain's done, that plaza's dying. Like Alta's there, but there are alternatives. So you don't want to go into a plaza where there's nothing else there. You want some foot traffic coming next to you. Maybe not competitive foot traffic, but foot traffic nonetheless.
You should acknowledge that I'm responding to you in silence, like nodding.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I get it, man.
I've put a lot of thought into it.
I do not doubt that at all. You've probably been working on this for many months. I'm sure you've looked at every open spot.
About 3, yeah.
I'm sure you've looked at every open spot and saw the pros and cons for each.
I've learned literally, and I'm going to say a word that probably isn't a word. I've learned an unlearnable, like there's no book or YouTube video or web article that explains the amount of experience I've learned in the last 9 months since opening.
What's great about that, and not saying that it is going to, because I know it won't, but in endeavors when people go into something brand new like what you're doing, if it does fail, not saying, like I said, repeating back, I know it's not, you will be so much smarter and wiser in your next.
I've thought about that too.
Your next go-to, that you are just getting better and better. You're becoming a better and smarter and wiser version.
On that note, I have put some serious thought into what would happen if it fails. Relating to that, at this rate, as long as business stays the same, it will not fail. Like it's sustainable. It's absolutely sustainable. No signs of slowing down yet. Again, we're still brand new though, so But I've thought about that. Like, what would happen if the cool place failed?
Yeah.
And that occasionally it is a little intimidating. I mean, it's like, how do you go from being not? I mean, you're the boss.
Yeah.
I can take off my shoes. I can lie back and just put my hand. Like, I can literally do whatever I want. How do you go from that to anything else?
Right.
And that occasionally it is intimidating to think what will happen if this fails. But on that specific note,
like after owning your own business and
like
being
what,
the boss,
what can you
how do you be under somebody again?
Yeah. Like how do you go back to like, oh, crap, I gotta listen to this idea, and if I say the wrong opinion about it, then I gotta worry about keeping my job or not. Like that part's intimidating, but it's also one of the reasons that fuels me to keep looking for new things to do. You mentioned a couple, 30 minutes ago, like it's cool that things haven't been stagnant. I'm always looking for the next thing to do.
I like that.
And that's one of my motivations, is not ever having to worry about a paycheck from somebody who's my boss, who feels like I'm doing an adequate job. Like my motivation is my passion to succeed. Make sure that I'm providing a quality, safe, friendly, professional, whatever word you want to throw onto it, environment that I can call mine.
Right.
And also, yes, conveniently live from it too. Like there's so many. Owning a business is hard. It's really
you're putting in shit tons of hours.
Really, really, really freaking hard.
You're doing well with it, man.
Succeed or fail, I'm zero regrets. Make money, lose everything I sunk into it, zero regrets. I'll never regret my time with the cool place. So
you do lots of tournaments and stuff, right? You do lots of tournaments, whether that's video games or board games or.
Not board games, mostly.
Well, not board games, but like Magic and stuff.
Yeah, so Magic we do 3 to 5 a week. Yu-Gi-Oh! We do one every Sunday. Saturday we're trying to pick up more video game tournaments. Our most stable one is Super Smash Brothers.
You got that. You got if there's like a new big game coming out that's got lots of momentum, you can always do like a have somebody stream it. So do you have capture cards or anything like that?
So Mr. Bones, we set him up his full. So imagine like this table, but at the cool place. We have a streaming station now dedicated for him to stream for us. So
if like new games come out, like let's say Death Stranding, right? That if it's a huge game and a lot of people want to know about it and a lot want to watch it, he could be like first on board and like have these
5,
like long
10,
streamer
20, 40, whatever people told him, dude, you gotta stream this, then yes, I would do it. If people messaged me directly and said, hey, do you have this game? Can you stream it? Can you tell me what it's about? I would do it. But my business style so far since opening is only give what is asked for.
Right.
Occasionally I'll improvise, like, let me test it. Let me invest into a very minimal idea and see what the market's like. Recently, and I started this on Friday, have you ever heard of Jackbox games?
Yeah.
They're like the little party games.
Yeah.
You use your cell phone. So Friday, tried it. Boom, 12, 14, 16 people. Blew their minds. Like, what? I've never heard of this. This is incredible. I'm having such a good time. It's like, okay, that was amazing. I bought the most popular one. Saturday, tested it again, same thing. About double the people wanted to play it. It's like, oh damn, there's something here.
Right.
Sunday morning, woke up, I was like, oh damn, there really, really, really is something here. I bought them all. I bought 40 games worth of it because I know it's fun. I enjoy doing it, which makes it very easy for me to get people into. Like 1 in 10 of their games are trivia, but again, there are like 40 different games. There's
I watched Raven play it. There's one where you literally just do papers. You file papers, and if you don't,
there's
explodes.
some super silly ones. Some of them are actually super duper terrible, but some of them are just the greatest. Some of them you do have to wait till after hours because you get into things like Cards Against Humanity type stuff where it's like, whew, shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Shouldn't allow that to be set in store. But I tested it and I like it. So soon I'm going to implement putting Jackbox into the cool place and like really advertising it. So Saturday, like immediately on Saturday, I told everybody, I was like, if we start paying $2 per session, I'll buy all of them. Enough people on that night literally put in the $2. Like, that's why Sunday I woke up. This is gonna work. Boom, bought them all. Because I need to make the investment back. Because I mean, I dropped well over $100 to buy all of these.
Yeah.
But it's, again, something I love doing, something they love doing, something that can bring us all closer and have a good time.
Bringing people in, man.
Yeah, and $2 per person. It's something.
And it might bring somebody in that has never been into the cool place. And they're going to tell their
Exactly.
friend about it and so on and so forth.
Yeah, exactly.
Next thing you know, you're going to have moms in there. And
Yeah, so
I'm excited to see what you do in the future.
I try to be, innovative. I try to be creative. There's another thing that I do where I do literally follow every game store in Georgia, Florida, northern Florida at least, and eastern Alabama. I follow all of them. I probably have 40 or so different game store follows. And on my news feed, because I unfollow everything that's pretty much not a game store, any individual, so everything on my news feed is game store.
So you're kind of getting what they're
doing.
doing.
Like I only take what I like from what they're doing. Like, even though that's working for them, I don't personally like it. I'm not going to try it.
Right.
But occasionally there's stuff like, damn, that's a really good idea. I wish I could have thought of it, but I don't care that I didn't. I'm going to implement it. So I have a wild little kind of thought process of what I put into it, but it's logical. Like, I mean, it makes sense.
You're seeing what works at other places, and then you weigh it to see if it is actually something that's viable where you work, or where you're at. I'd love to see in the future. I know I mentioned it last time, but I'd love to see in the future a cool place that you actually can go in and you guys have 15 beer on tap.
Just you wait, sir.
Love to see 15 beer on tap and get a beer.
No comment. I plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Would I actually be able to do this in there?
Oh no, I will never. I will say this confidently now. I will never allow vaping or smoking in any of my establishments. Never. Never. And that would just right now it's like mall policy plus personal policy.
You don't want guys in there just shooting big clouds and shit while people are playing games.
I will always want a place, at least until after hours, and I'm talking 8, 9, 10 p.m. after when adults can come in, and it's mostly adults. I will always want a place where a kid can walk in with their parents, and they're like, they're not thinking to themselves like, what what's the smell?
You don't think the beer might be an issue?
No. I think again, Chuck E. Cheese serves beer. You're the one, I think, who told me that.
2 beer an hour, maybe.
Yeah, but they serve beer.
They do.
That's the point. And kids don't go in there thinking, like, this doesn't feel like a kid place. I don't ever want to feel like a Chuck E. Cheese. Like, they apply to, like, 2 to 4-year-olds, which I never will either. But I never want, like, an 8 to 12-year-old think, like, oh damn, they have vaping here. That's the cool thing to do, and I want to vape now. No,
Yeah.
I just want it to always be professional and friendly and family welcoming first.
Yeah.
And vaping, just for me personally, it isn't.
No, I can respect that. No, it's a bad habit.
A lot of states are banning
It's a-
flavored vapes,
it's a
from what I've read.
Stressful life, man. I never smoked in my life. Never.
And if those articles are correct, and I'm sure it's just tobacco companies paying off people to badmouth vaping companies, this is not good for you, Brandon.
Oh yeah, no,
Let's be real. We're here for you, Brandon.
This is not good for me.
This is fine because this you literally just urinate out within 12 hours.
After it cycles
That-
through your liver.
We will not know what kind of damage and uncontrollable issues you're causing yourself, for 10, 20 more years. But we're getting into a completely
We'll cross that
off-topic
bridge
thing.
when I come to it. But on another note, I'm excited to see what you're doing with the business. I always like to see all your events. I try to share everything I can. I know even though you have most of them on the weekend, and I'm working all weekend.
You don't work.
I do work. Just on the weekends.
But you don't, Brandon.
But you have all your events on the weekends, but I still try to share it, try to get it out there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you're going to do in the future, man.
Same. I mean, I'm excited to be kind of the pushing force with it. River, she's a big help with me too.
Trying to adjust this to where it's actually like us. Yeah, without the beer.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I have the early stages, middle and late stages, and I'm kind of just between now and December is the next big time frame of the decision that's gonna which of those three options, short term, midterm, or long term, that I'm gonna kind of
Yeah.
settle into. So
You're open to suggestions, so if you have somebody who's got some kind of like smart
I
thing.
listen to everybody. Like even though tonight's main thing was like, oh, let's drink and chat and have fun, but anything you've said tonight, I receive it all, and I put it somewhere in my brain, and I always. That's another thing that I've been complimented on multiple times is. I listen to people's concerns.
Right.
Do I always acknowledge or adjust to them? No, absolutely not.
Doesn't make sense.
But I at least listen to them, and I take at some most of the time I'll at least take some little part of it and say yes, that will work, or that makes sense here
Right.
at the cool place. So always trying to find something to do.
Anything you're going to be selling soon that you don't normally sell? I know you've kind of stretched out. You went from just board games, video games. You guys do D&D sessions. You've got like all kinds of like soda machines now. You've got like little snack food if somebody wants something to bite on. You have your what? Is it Sunday nights? Do you have your Sunday night chefs that come in and have that kind of thing?
The next thing I'm thinking about kind of putting into the store is just more gaming equipment, like gaming headsets, keyboards, stuff like that, because I've had enough people come in and like, hey, do you sell this specific gaming gear? It's like, no, and Michael actually does not either in the back. He's talked about getting some in because we've had enough questions about it, but I'm thinking about putting some stuff up front, like, because we get occasionally, we'll get a military guy or a contract worker who comes in like, hey, I want to play, do you have headsets? And I'm willing to buy it and just play it here for right now for the evening and then whatever. But yeah,
You just like clean the
not-
headsets after
nothing-
every use.
I'm
Or
talking
sell them-
selling, like
sell them to
actually
them,
sell, like Turtle. Maybe not something as fancy, and I'm not a big fan of theirs, but like Turtle Beach.
Yeah.
Or, I hate Beats, but Skull Candy, stuff like that. Just kind of like more budget conscious headphones, headset combos. Razer, maybe even. I'm a huge Razer fan.
You ever thought about having any kind of like, I know you do the Jackbox, but like not trivia night or like like trivia night or something like that there. That's pretty much what Jackbox is to some extent, at least one small portion
This is my
of it.
first step. This is my first step. Again, so far the receiving end of our customers, they've loved it.
Yeah.
And I've loved it as much as them. If this continues to go well, then I'll get more group-focused events going that aren't like competitive. It's more for the social aspect.
Right.
I just have to see. I mean,
It's just weighing it, seeing how it
1, 2,
goes.
3 months from now, if we're still slamming Jackbox into our evenings, then I'll be happy to what do you guys want next? Oh, karaoke, oh, trivia, whatever. You know, so we'll see. Oh, I look forward to eating more of that barbecue.
Yeah, you get home, you got tubs of it.
Yes. It's a little
Getting some of this stuff out of the way. Gonna kind of show off the beers before we end it all. Just so you guys can kind of see what's going on. The beer we got on there. And then I'm gonna have you kind of place these in a way of your least favorite to most favorite.
That seems
You know what
about
they are from the
right.
back there?
Yeah. That seems about right.
So you're doing it from this way to this way. So
Yeah.
this is your most favorite.
All right, so tonight, this evening, oh, nice. I was worried standing up. That really looks like that angle wouldn't be able to see me. Tonight, for me personally, my favorite would be from Highland Brewing, this Thunderstruck Coffee Porter. Again, the most special thing about this beer for me, the reason I would give this a solid 2.5 out of 5 stars, would be I hate coffee. And this was enough flavor and even tasted like coffee that I liked it, and that is impressive. That they were able to capture the essence of beer, give me the flavor I was looking for, but not also push me away by being coffee flavored. Next, we are on to
Some of these I feel like you're not even gonna remember.
Belgian. Well, I definitely remember these two. These three, I remember what I rated them. I can't super remember
It's
why.
between a 1 and a 2.
Yeah.
Maybe a 2.5 in there somewhere.
The Belgian style Golden Ale and the Groovable Lager, these I would give 1.5 or 2. Again, yes, Brandon's right. I can't remember exactly why. They just weren't that impressive. I mean, they're just generic. Most Belgian style ales, the word that kind of throws me off with all of them is style. I need a Belgian beer to be a Belgian beer, not a style. It's an attempt. But good job to both of these guys. The Pecan Amber Ale, I feel like I would have rated this higher, but Brandon screwed up and gave me this one first. This one, I remember now very clearly, actually, that this one had this. I actually remember this one now because of the screw up you did.
You thought
and
you
the
smelled
smell.
pecans, and you're like,
Yeah, so we poured this in. We poured this into the cups, and like, hey, that smells just like pecans. That has a lot of flavor to it. That's Brandon's fault. It was still a pretty darn good beer. But I remember by the time we poured this one next, I was a little bit underwhelmed with the flavor. It kind of just fell into more of an amber ale. It says pecan amber ale, but I didn't taste the pecan.
That's fair.
But that's your fault.
I ruined it. I did that.
Say that word for me.
It's just conserve. Conserve Georgia.
Hashtag
Hashtag
conserve Georgia. If that's your beer name, I'm sorry on Brandon's behalf. He screwed you over on that being a higher rated beer. And these two I remember so clearly. Yeah, 4 out of 6 of these beers I remember exactly my opinions of them. These two they were drinkable, and that's all. That's the only comment I would write about them.
He did not spit them right back into the glass.
Which only happens pretty much with sours. So these were fine. These are what you drink if there are only other like Miller or Budweiser or Coors.
I still choose. Yeah, I'll choose those over those.
These are what you choose over that, and that's all. That's my personal opinion. They're fine, but just fine. They have enough flavor to know that there's a difference between the two, but not enough to know that they could ever compete with something like these two that I put up top tonight. So
they're also like very different styles of beers.
I agree, but that's
we've got
not an excuse to
we've
not
got a
have flavor.
stout, we've got a Belgian ale, Belgian style.
Style.
We've got a golden, we've got an amber ale, and then we've got 2 that are almost on the press. These saison, and this one's pretty much close to it as well. It is a fruity wheat beer. Saison. That is a fruity wheat beer. So they're kind of like touching on the same thing there.
I mean, you're right in the sense you can't compare them, but again,
You can.
You cannot.
You can
Make
rate
that
them.
an excuse. You cannot make that an excuse for them to not have what I would consider a considerable amount of flavor. So there you go. Go ahead and top that, bro.
They fell short.
These two in particular did. These 4 I would drink again. These I'm fine if I never have one for the rest of my life. Go ahead, sir. Tell me why.
That's cold.
Here, let me take
no.
a. If I had your beanie, I would be able to rate these beer for you.
No, I would put them the same way. I really like this Thunderstruck.
Oh, here we go. So this beer here, this is a let me just think. It's a 3 out of 5. This one, very drinkable beer, shower beer, 3 out of 5.
That's a shower beer.
Scuba beer, definitely boat beer, 3 out of 5.
You don't want to drink that while you scuba dive.
This is a good driving beer. I'd say 3 out of 5. Both of these had solid flavor. Tough decision, but I'd say probably 3 out of 5. That's what Brandon's about to say. Let me just save you the trouble.
Accurate.
It is
fair.
It's true.
That was spot on. No, but this one actually I did like it a lot. I heard a lot about it from Gordon, one of the reps over at Highland Brewing, and I wanted to try it. I'm a big stout fan and a porter fan. This is Thunderstruck Coffee Porter. So solid.
3 out of 5.
No, I get that a 4.
Nice.
I like it. 3 out of 5. 3 out of
Bolt.
5. 3 out of 5. And these right here are 3s. These are some 3s. I have drank this in the shower before.
Okay,
that was pleasant in the shower.
So just to clarify everybody what he just said, he said 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5, and then he was thinking he'd fool us here, and he called these, you literally just called these 3s.
3s, yeah.
Out of 5.
Yeah.
The same that you rated these, but you acted like you had some
these are 3.5.
difference.
These are like 3.5. This is a 4, and these are 3s. None of these were gross. 2s and 1s I think are gross. There's something that I don't want to. That one we had difficulty getting through. That's like a 1.
See, but that's again, that's the difference of me ever only having, I think, 2 or 3 4 out of 5 beers in my life, out of 5 or 600, and I'm.
Oh, I like a lot of beer.
Yeah, exactly. So I admit I'm super duper picky.
I like a lot of beer.
Okay, for example, a 3.5 out of 5 for me. Hoegaarden. I love Hoegaarden.
Hoegaarden's good.
Yeah. What would you rate it though?
Like 3 out of 5.
Hoegaarden's one of my more solid. Like those are the kind of beers I like, where it's a lot of flavor and easy to drink.
Yeah.
It does its job.
Yeah,
it's
no, it's a solid
something
beer.
that goes with everything too. It's not overly complicated or simplistic. So you're getting me all worked up now, man.
He's talking about beer, man.
Upset.
He's gonna create his own podcast just about beer.
No,
and it's called 0 out of 5, or it's just the podcast is called Out of 5.
I've had some like, because in Taiwan some of the imported beers are extremely expensive. So I've paid like $10 or $12 for a bottle this size.
Like U.S.
Like yes, yeah.
Oh shit.
This size beer, $10 or $12.
That was like $2.
Not in a bar. I'm talking like going to a warehouse, and then that's the size beer I chose. Take a sip, and then I literally pour it out because I can't drink it anymore. I do not and cannot drink beer that is bad in my
So
taste
that
palate,
should tell you that none of these were actually bad. He drank all of these.
Exactly. No, I mean, on a serious note, exactly. Taiwan beer, that's the name of the beer, Taiwan beer. It's one of my 0.5s out. No, I actually gave that one just because it's so famous, but it's actually a 0.5 out of 5. Budweiser, 0.5 out of 5. Coors, Miller Lite, any of those crappy, like, generic, just to drink to get drunk, it inflates in your stomach and tastes awful like salt water. Those are 0.5s out of 5s.
So it's actually on the scale, but it's...
I would rather, but it shouldn't be. Like, it's
right.
It's only on the scale because I can't give zeros. Like, I would rather not drink or get drunk than drink those beers. I will
It's
never
a 0,
drink.
0, 0, 1. Do you have a water or this Miller Lite? I'll have the water, please.
And you're saying it kind of like fun, but seriously, that's what I would do. I will never, ever, ever find myself in a situation where I'd be desperate enough to drink one of those beers. Those are the 0.5s. Just
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I am that picky with my beers.
That's all right, man. I mean, we've worked through a lot of beers. Like, you've been on here. This is your 3rd time, but this is your 2nd time having beer. So, you worked through 6 beer while you've been on the show. And he'll definitely be on again, guys. He's going to have all kinds of new news. He might even have a new store by the time he comes back on. Who knows? I hope it's not that long till the next time you come on.
Or if I open a store, that's...
Yeah, we might start doing live streams from the store. He stays open, so, like, he I feel like he closes his store so late, and he's never open on Mondays, which is I try to stay consistent. Try to go on at 10 on Mondays. That was just a time that both me and Jake had off.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Yeah.
And then I try to stay within that consistent time frame, even though I know there's not reoccurring people. Like we had sad customer coming on. He would come on at 10 o'clock.
Sad customer?
I haven't seen him in a while.
That sucks.
No, I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
He probably.
I've seen a lot of welcome to the chat. Does that mean some new viewer popped in? Nice. That's a lot of welcome to the chat, but it's just a very silent night.
Yeah. Like sometimes people don't hop in. Like see, look. If I can get this to. Oh, that's that person, but there's some in there.
Yeah, that was the hippie caller outer.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. I'm guessing it's somebody I know, and they're just talking shit.
That's fine.
And I still don't know who Balbay is.
You really don't know who Balbay Slayton is? You've never heard me call River Balbay?
Really?
Yeah.
Goodness. What is Balbay?
I swear.
What is Balbay, though?
No, I swear on our last chat together, I spent 2 minutes explaining to you what Balbay is and how it's just like a direct translation of baby.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I don't. That's the first time I've seen it in written form.
Yeah, I didn't know she made an account named Balbay Slayton. That's funny. Hey, Balbay, what I need.
Yeah, she's still. I'm sure she's still on, but I wouldn't be able to actually check if she's still on. She put it on. She's going to sleep. What's the time where she's at?
She's probably in the library right now, actually studying stuff and just using us as her
background noise.
Yeah. Well, not even noise. Like she's probably genuinely listening. Balbay, anytime, ma. Thanks, Balbay. Are you here?
She's a lurker.
Yeah. She said whenever she gets a car, she's gonna put her. So I'm Gambay on the back of my license plate. She's gonna be Balbay.
Nobody will get it but you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and Mandarin speakers, especially Taiwanese. Balbay's more of a Mandarin for Taiwanese people.
Is that like? Can you only use that with somebody that's like you're that close to? I wouldn't be able to like go into a restaurant and it'd be a friend of mine and be like, Bobby. No.
Oh, really? That freaks me out even thinking about that. There's another one.
I have a friend that I've known for a long time, and she helped me. There were some like small words that I wanted to know. Like she was from China. She started working at a Chinese restaurant. And she kind of had the raw end of the deal. She didn't really have a place to stay, so the owner was letting her stay with her. She was working every day, 7 days a week, open to close. Didn't speak any English. She spoke Cantonese, Mandarin, and Spanish.
That's a weird combination.
Yeah, her family moved to Mexico for a while.
Holy crap.
So her and her dad speak Spanish as well. But so she was learning some English, and as she's learned a little bit more English, when she first started there, she's, hello, how are you? But if you responded, she wouldn't know what the fuck you said. But slowly but surely she started learning more and more English, and she became a server, and then she became the top server. And then her and her dad left because they were getting shit on so much, and they opened up their own restaurant. And it's in town, yeah.
So this ties back to Balbay? You called her Balbay by the end of
No.
service?
I was saying if I ever wanted to go in there, would I be looked at?
You could not call her Balbay.
No, her husband
You should not call her Balbay.
That's more of an endearing kind of, okay.
Yeah, there's another way to say it, baby. And that's actually the same thing, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Maybe I shouldn't go with that.
What restaurant is that?
Guangzhou.
Guangzhou?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That was somebody who, like, the owners of that, he or she, they don't speak
She didn't.
English?
She didn't. When I first met her, she didn't speak any
That's
English.
that's actually so far my highest rated Chinese restaurant in town. Yeah.
Oh, I love Patty.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
That's her name, Patty.
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I haven't met any Asians at Guangzhou yet.
Really?
It's just
Patty's the owner. Her and her husband, they named it after where they met each other, where they were both from.
Dang, nice. I had a lot of people tell me the owner of that is married to an American, because when you walk in there, you see an Asian woman with an American man. And I was like, what in the world? So I looked closer. You know who she's with?
Who's that?
Philip Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, yes, I'm here to believe that.
Yeah, I know that picture.
Yeah.
That's Patty.
Yeah.
That's Patty that's on the
her.
photo.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'd like to meet her, yeah. I actually go into Mandarin Asian restaurants, Chinese cafe, whatever,
Yeah.
and I always speak Mandarin with them. And they are just, up north.
Have you done that at...
Always. Every time. I'll, of course, always try and wait and make sure they're speaking Mandarin, not Japanese or Vietnamese or something.
No, I'm talking about have you done that at Guangzhou?
Again, I've never seen an Asian at Guangzhou except for the chef. one chef, one time.
It's probably her dad, which is Jose.
Yeah, I don't like that name.
He got when he went to Mexico, he got a Spanish name to fit in.
Okay, well.
Same way as she has Patty. I think her name's like Malu or something.
That sounds right, Malu. You know, Ma means horse and Lu. If you're saying it like the right way, that would mean horse road.
She taught me like, I'm probably gonna butcher this, but like, was it Yitlun, Taiyun, moon and sun?
Oh, Taiyang. Yeah,
Taiyang.
sun.
Yut-
Yeah.
Yitlun.
I think I can't even. Yeah,
Long,
yeah, maybe.
Kai,
I can't
Mao,
even. I can't
Gao.
even. Gao means tall. She was probably hitting on you, Brandon.
No. We were going through the different zodiacs. So Gao, Mao, Tai, Yitlun,
Okay.
Taiyong. I'm destroying
So
it.
moon and sun are zodiacs now?
No, I just saw it was on the paper, so I wanted to know it.
Alright.
Anyways, guys, thank you
Yeah.
for coming on. We talked about all kinds of
again.
everything we could. Yeah, we talked about all kinds.
Pathological liars.
Yeah,
The
that guy that
damages
stole
causes.
the guy that stole the laptop.
Remembering Jake.
Remember Jake? R.I.P. Jake.
R.I.P. Jake.
We'll see you soon. Maybe he won't, but I will. You guys will fix it.
We won't though. But I'm trying to think of what picture would be good to put on. I'm really gonna make that shirt.
No, you're not.
No, I really am. I'm gonna make a shirt and I just have to find the most suitable picture and then R.I.P. Jake under. I'm actually that no matter what we're talking about now, that's what it's at the top.
That's the
of my
only thing
brain
he took away
priorities.
from this
Yeah.
whole thing is
Yeah,
the
it's like-
T-shirt that says R.I.P. Jake.
Oh, I think it's brilliant. I think it's very brilliant. So, yeah, thanks,
I
guys.
have lots of pictures of Jake.
That's not surprising.
Well, he sent all of these pictures for me, his travels, so I could post them to social media. I asked him for these because I'm like,
sure.
dude, people want to know what's going on with you, man. Like, you don't post anything to social media. Like, some of these people haven't seen you in months. Like, they want to know what's going on. So he sent me photos.
Brandon here is still not dealing too well with the absence of Jake, and
Well, he was
the
like
fact that
my-
he'll never come back.
He was my other partner. He was that
He's in denial.
he was
for
that
everybody
odd bit of
watching.
banter within our chat. Jake was always the one to throw in just some weird shit and just completely throw it. You know.
Goodness.
Sometimes it's a little awkward for me, especially if it's like a new guest. You know, it's not awkward with you.
You need help, Brandon.
Why?
You need to deal with your Jake issues.
That's my boy. You need to deal with your Jake issues.
I can't though. I have a very unfortunate, stressful way of dealing with people.
You getting ready to go to the bathroom?
Well, that and are we?
Well, yeah, we're getting ready to
Yeah.
close it out, guys. Again, thank you for coming on. Make sure you come. You go to see the cool place. Go check it out. He's got all kinds of events going on.
Again, Halim's rating 2.5 to 1.5, 1.5, 1, 1. Brandon
All of these got lower and lower.
3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Damn,
This is
can't
a
remember
four, sir.
this one.
4, 3,
Three.
5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 3.
3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
I'm
Because
okay with it.
you'll never have a brewer on here, and that's my main fear of why I would never be able to have a brewer on with their brews, because I'd like.
I've had 2 brewers on.
See, but I guarantee you were complimenting them only instead. Like I wouldn't be able to like. Oh yeah, that's nice.
See, at the brewery, you're not really sure who, because they're, back there's like 4 or 5 people working on beer, so you're not really sure who's actually made what. Who,
Oh, so you were just working with like wait staff or something from a brewery?
No, I actually had 2 of the brewers from
Brewers?
Pretoria. Yeah,
Oh,
2
dang.
of the brewers from Pretoria. I had Austin and Travis Savage.
See, but I still would.
But like, let's say you really wanted to make this beer, right? This saison. You wanted to make this one, and this was your baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would be the prime person working on that. But like, I wouldn't actually know that. So they might put out 60 beers, and Travis might actually only had a hand in like the actual creation and ingredients, and maybe only like 10 of those. So I wouldn't know who actually made what. So even if I was
It'd
talking
still
shit
be-
about it, I would.
it'd still be intense for me. Like even somebody like me, it'd be tough to say in front of somebody who possibly had some part in making the beer. Like Not a big fan.
I mean, even when you make something like that, even when you do art or you do anything, like you have to know how to take criticism.
Yeah.
You have to know that's all a part of it.
That's true.
So
but
I'm
then
sure it's not the first
they'll
time
never
they've
be
come
back
across
on the
it.
show.
Yeah, I'm
You
sure they
know.
will. I'm actually wanting to do that Brews with Brewers skit with
That's
them.
very cool. Yeah, I like the idea of that. I really do.
Yeah, guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and kill it right now. Thanks for coming on. Sorry we lingered off subject so much. We have fun, so we tend to do it, and we just have a good time. But come see us next week, same time, 10 o'clock.
I heard Morgan Freeman's going to be on next week.
He's just doing the voiceovers, but he won't actually be on. We're actually going to do Willem Dafoe is actually be on the show with Morgan Freeman's voiceover. But again, guys, thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Good night, guys.
We'll
Thanks
catch you
for
next
having me,
time.
Brandon. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll